covered. The atmosphere is welcoming, the people are awesome, and the events are always a good time. It's the kind of place where you feel like you belong right away. If you haven't checked out VFW Post 305 on Star Avenue, I highly recommend you do. It's quickly become my go-to spot in Eau Claire.
Good morning, sports fans and enthusiasts from every corner of the globe. It's time to rise and grind because it's game time.
What time is it? Game time!
So grab your coffee, turn up the volume, and get ready to join the conversation.
Y'all ready for this?
Because the Dan Kasper Show begins right now.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
Here's your host and maestro of sports knowledge himself, Dan Kasper.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
What up, everybody? Good morning and TGIF. Happy Friday morning on this wet, rainy start. I guess depending on where you are tuning in from here this morning. But we appreciate you making us a part of your start and tuning in however you're tuning in. If it's on those radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Also available to stream online at sportstalk1051.com. Got your app. Download that. Take it on the go. Tell your Alexa devices, yo, play WAYY video streams also up and rolling. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, etc., etc., etc. But a very happy Friday the 13th of June here as we get set for another weekend. What do we got on our game plan, though, before we get set for that weekend? Brew Crew, last night, 6-0 win over the Cardinals, and the Mizz dazzles in his Major League debut. Going 5 innings, no hit ball, 5 Ks, did issue 4 walks, but no hits, no earned runs, and double digits. Consistently going over 100 miles per hour. If you have social media like Twitter or whatever, you probably saw a lot of crazy nuggets, stats surrounding Mizz performance yesterday. Like Sarah Lang's, as she noted, she's baseball, facts and stats and such. Mizz threw 14 pitches at least 100 miles per hour or more. Entering the game yesterday, all Brewers starters had combined for 8 pitches at 100 or more miles per hour. I mean, Mizz, if you haven't been following along with his career as a minor leaguer and such and didn't know a whole lot about him, you saw why. You got a glimpse last night, why there's so much talk about him and how powerful he is. I mean, over 100 last night. So solid, very good performance in his Major League debut. And then as he was out there for the 6th, little concern after a pitch he threw and then kind of tumbled a little bit on the mound. A lot of people thought maybe it was an ankle. Brewers weren't going to mess around. They pulled him, walked off the field with the trainer. And, video, it looks like a little bit of an ankle roll. A lot of basketball players probably like, oh, yeah, I've been there before when you're watching that slow-mo. However, Brewers saying it was cramps, lower leg cramps. So, and just not gonna push it with the youngster. So if it is truly cramps, might have dodged a bullet there and not having to go on a short-term IL stint with an ankle sprain or anything like that. So, Mizz, your instant reaction, your quick reaction after just one start. I mean, you might as well just make the Hall of Fame plaque, right? No, just kidding. But still, dazzling in his performance last night. So, also Sal Frelick hitting in that leadoff spot, 3 hits, a couple RBIs, and thanks to that 5th inning where the Brewers were able to put up 5 runs. Brewers did have a 1-0 lead before that, but that that fifth inning when they put up 5 runs, highlighted by some hitting from Ortiz and Frelick, and then the home run by Cheerio. That's what got Sonny Gray out of the game, and the Brewers. Sonny Gray's, I mean, he's been fantastic all season long, and the Brewers were able to knock him out in that 5th inning and give him just his 2nd loss on the season. So with the win, the Brewers move up to 2nd in the NL Central standings. So, but we've got 3 more of these. All right, we got 3 more of these games coming at us starting tonight and through the weekend. We've got Freddie Peralta on the mound going up against Eric Fetty. I mean, this should be another really good matchup between these 2 pitchers and between these 2 teams. And then looking ahead to Saturday's game, you got Quintana on the mound for the Brewers. And then on Sunday, the final game of this 4-game series, still a little TBD here, but we'll see how it all plays out. But I'm expecting still these next 3 games to be fantastic games, probably some close games and such, but off to a fantastic start last night for the Brewers and Jacob Mizorowski's major league debut. Also yesterday, something we kind of threw out there as a possibility, but it is now out there that Aaron Savali, his representation, his agents have requested a trade, moving on from the Brewers because he wants to continue to be a starter. And as he's entering free agency, obviously there's a little bit of a money aspect to this. Wants to go out there and prove that he is still a starter and a capable and a good starter. So he can cash in free agency next year. So, but it was interesting little nugget too, because Aaron Savali did talk to the local media yesterday, and there was a little bit of a nugget too that apparently, and then Aaron Savali's agent also talked, but it was from Savali's agent that he kind of said, from the talking that he has done with other teams, kind of hearing that the Brewers potentially could be trading some more starters, which I mean probably makes sense because of the list of starters that they've got, and maybe want to go with a little bit of their younger route. I'm sure they probably would like to flip Nestor Cortez at this point, but he's hurt on the injured list. So I don't know how much you'd be able to get from him at this point. So, but we'll talk about that. Talk a little Brewers throughout this morning, especially when our guy, Mr. R.J. Cardinal, will be, or not RJ Cardinal, because I got a Badger note here. Brandon Berg, when our guy Brandon Berg joins us coming up in the next hour. So plenty of Brewers chat with him, along with some local sports roundup. McDonald Central, Thorpe softball teams falling yesterday at state. But Fall Creek's in action today around 11:30. So best of luck to Fall Creek. And then Memorial Soccer, girls soccer, advancing to face Kimberly, 1 win away from advancing to state. So the reason I brought up RJ because there's a little bit of a Badger football nugget that we want to hit up here too, because according to, one of our good friends, Colton Bartholomew, who covers the Badgers for the Wisconsin State Journal, the NCAA has officially levied penalties against the Badgers for a series of level 2 recruiting violations that occurred back in 2023. The infractions apparently stem from 139 impermissible phone calls made by 9 different football staffers, including Luke Fickell, to 48 different recruits. Yeah. And apparently nearly all of them would have been legal had they just waited a few more months under the new rules that went into effect on August 1st, 2023. So we'll hit that up and talk a little bit about that as well. Speaking of football, we'll talk a little Green Bay as they wrapped up minicamp yesterday. Packers wrapping up minicamp. So the next time we're going to see them on the field, believe it or not, it's going to be a training camp. I was going to say spring training. It's going to be training camp. So in July, the end of July. So that's the next time that we'll see everybody back on the fields. So we'll go through maybe some of the updates from yesterday, just some camp updates from the local media that was in attendance at the final mandatory minicamp practice yesterday. So we'll throw a little green and gold chat in this equation as well. We'll do Inside the Training Room with Dr. Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, coming up just past 7 o'clock. We'll also do a little AJM Automotive, Pump the Brakes, Full Throttle. We'll hit that up in the 8 o'clock hour. We'll do a little cream of the crop or bottom of the barrel, adding a new one to that as well. So, Stanley Cup Finals, the Edmonton Oilers tying it up with a win last night in OT, 2-2. The series is now tied here. So, Stanley Cup Finals proving to be a very entertaining series right now. So, but got a full-on docket for us this morning, and whatever else is on your mind. So start to hit me up with some text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912. Comment on the video streams. Hit me up on the socials at DANKASPER on X/Twitter, Facebook.com/for sports. So buckle up, grab some coffee, stay out of the wet rain if you're in our area where it's been pouring and such. Maybe you were like myself out in the rain last night for some baseball and such, but warm up with a nice hotly brewed coffee. Oh man, that sounds good right now. So let's get things rolling here this morning. We'll begin things on the leadoff talking some Mizz. The Mizz, Jacob Mizorowski. Reaction, thoughts from his performance last night, his major league debut. Love to hear, especially if you weren't too familiar with him or didn't know a whole lot about him before last night's game. But we'll talk about that. And then, of course, the Brewers' performance overall last night. Aaron Savale, again, requesting a trade from the Brewers. We'll tell you a little bit about what he told the local media yesterday. Does he hold any animosity towards the Brewers, towards the franchise or staff or anything like that? We'll go through some of the comments from him. So lots to get to here this morning. Pitter patter. Let's get at her. First break, and then we'll get going with the leadoff, talking some Milwaukee Brewers. Coming up after these quick words.
Got a take on today's topics but can't call in? Then hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or the text line and let your fingers do the talking.
Warmer weather means more time on your feet. Make sure every step feels great. Whether it's running, walking, or working, proper support matters. The Shoe Doctor carries a wide selection of supportive shoes, custom insoles, and footwear solutions designed for comfort and performance. Stop in to find the right fit for spring and summer activities. The Shoe Doctor, helping feet feel their best season after season. Visit the Shoe Doctor today at 2321 East Claremont Avenue or online at ShoeDoctorEauClaire.com, where comfort starts.
We all live busy lives, and sometimes when you get that little bit of free time, it is sacred. Now, wouldn't it be nice if there was a place where you could go to find out how to spend your free time? Like where to eat, where to catch a show, where to take a walk, where to go support local. Good news. We have a place for that. It's called Around the 715. It's the spot that you go to when you want to find out what's going down around town. And the good news is it's easy to find. Just download the all-new Around the 715 app on your smartphone.
Experience movies the way they were meant to be at MyCon Cinemas. Here's what's playing now. Lilo and Stitch, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, Bring Her Back, Ballerina, How to Train Your Dragon, Materialists, and The Unholy Trinity. For theaters and showtimes, find them online at myconcinemas.com.
Has anyone told you how amazing your business website is? I didn't think so. Do you think it's just sort of Websticks has taken thousands of websites from to amazing, and you only pay for the help you need with blocks of time that never expire. It's kind of brilliant. Websticks. Find out more at websticks.com. That's websticks with an X.com.
Stunning sights, more clicks, web support from Websticks.
Dear Brewers fans, where do you find the best views and the most electrifying baseball action American Family Field has to offer? The answer is Toyota territory, located in right field. This Grand Slam experience covers all the bases and gives fans in the stands an exclusive live look at our home run hitter, the Toyota Land Cruiser. Creating a lasting legacy, the Toyota Land Cruiser is seasoned to perform like your Milwaukee Brewers. Add Toyota to your lineup today. Now batting, Toyota.
Service Master of Chippewa Valley is your local expert when it comes to fire and water damage, carpet and air duct cleaning, mold remediation, and trauma. They're when you need them 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Trust comes in the yellow truck. Learn more at ServiceMasterChippewaValley.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-498-6548. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-498-6548. That's 800-498-6548. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Rocket.com is a single, seamless home ownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, and even refinance your home. Get started today at Rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Broadcasting live from the TDS Sports Talk 105.1 studios, it's the Dan Kasper Show.
Father's Day is coming up on Sunday, and if you're still trying to figure out what the heck to get dad, grandpa, uncle, father figure, guardian, whoever it is that you're trying to shop for Father's Day, and if they're an outdoorsman, hunter, head on over to our good friends at Tilden Gun. Whether maybe you need some ammo or a new deer rifle, new turkey shotgun, or you just want to check out what's new, you know you're going to be in good hands when you visit the guys over at Tilden Gun. It's more than just a gun shop. It's a place where you're treated like family, too. The guys at Tilden Gun know their stuff. They've helped me personally find the right gear time and time again, whether it is for deer season or target shooting or maybe just adding something new to the collection. And they don't give you the runaround. They listen, they answer your questions, and they genuinely care about getting you what you need. And if they don't have it, they'll work to find it. Over the years, I've sent plenty of friends over there, and every single one has come back saying the same thing. That's a place I'll go back to. If you haven't been to Tilden Gun, you're missing out. Great service, fair prices, and people you can trust. Just was shopping there a few weeks ago, and Sean over there helped answer a lot of questions, especially with my wife and such. Gave her some tips, gave her some advice and such. So, I mean, just friendly customer service, awesome customer service over at Tilden Gun. You can check them out online at their website at tildengun.com. I mean, you want to see the type of selection you can get over there, just go to tildengun.com or stop by their really sweet shop if you haven't been in there. I mean, if you like man caves and such, that place is awesome just to hang out in. 12427 98th Avenue in Chippewa Falls. All right, let's get the leadoff going here this morning, and we got to give the honors to the Brewers. Brewers picking up a 6-0 victory last night against those pesky St. Louis Cardinals. But it was all the limelight leading up to it, all the hype, all the talk, all the attention heading into that game was who the Brewers would be throwing out there as their starting pitcher, and it was Jacob Mizorowski, a pitcher that we have heard about for the last couple of seasons in the minor leagues, a hard throwing starter, a 6'7" tall, lanky young man, but who can consistently throw over 100 miles per hour and deep into games and such. And, there was a lot of hype, a lot of attention on this starts. And I think it's fair to say if we had some high expectations in his debut, he hit those high expectations. He hit all of the enthusiasm and excitement leading into this game. I mean, his first pitch found the strike zone at a little over 100 miles per hour, making it the second fastest fastball thrown by a Brewer starter in the pitch tracking era, just a few notches below Trevor McGill's 100.7 miles per hour as an opener in 2023. But his second pitch for Mizorowski was 101.8. Fifth pitch, 102.2. And here's the thing with Mizorowski. So we mentioned a little bit ago, he could go deep into these games and still hit over 100 miles per hour. His 78th pitch was 101.1 miles per hour. So, and of course, just to recap again, what looked like he rolled his ankle at the end, and maybe he did slightly roll his ankle, and people, I think a lot of people are assuming it's a sprained ankle. Apparently, he felt his quadricep and calf cramp. So and then he did turn his right ankle after the follow through a little bit, but doesn't sound like anything to be concerned about. Anything with maybe at this point it doesn't sound like an injured list. Going to go on there or such. So it feels like maybe we could take a little bit of a sigh of relief in that. But nonetheless, I think, if we did have high expectations or with all the hype heading into the start, I think it's fair to say that Mizorowski hit those levels. No hitter. He didn't even realize, apparently, that he had a no going. Did walk 4 in 5 innings, but did not give up a single hit in his performance. And the fact that he didn't even know about it too, I mean, you could tell he was obviously just dialed into his performance last night. Again, I'll bring up this stat from Sarah Langs, because if you have Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it these days, and you're a baseball person, make sure you're following Sarah Langs, because if you like these interesting, factoids, nuggets, stats, and such, she is absolutely fantastic with this. And I mean, she was tweeting quite a bit about Mizorowski's start last night. And even if you were on the X or Facebook and such, you probably saw all these ridiculous numbers and stats coming about Mizorowski. But here's a couple of them from Sarah Langs. Mizorowski threw 14 pitches at least 100 miles per hour or more. And then entering the game yesterday, all Brewer starters had combined for 8 pitches at 100 or more miles per hour. All Brewer starters entered with just 8 total. Mizorowski throws 14 pitches at least 100 or more. Also, Mizorowski's 5 innings of no-hit ball is the second longest bid by a Brewers pitcher in his MLB debut, behind only, that'd be Freddie Peralta when he did it against the Colorado Rockies, 5 1/3 when he did in his Major League debut on, remember Mother's Day, May 13th, 2018. Also, one more here from Sarah about Mizorowski. Most 100-mile per hour or more pitches in their Major League debut since the pitch tracking era, which would be 2008. He had Hunter Green, who had 20. That's insane thinking about that, 20. Back on April 10th in 2022. Paul Skeens had 17 on there. Eric Cordier had 18 in 2014. Mason Miller had 15 back last year, April 19th, or a couple years ago, excuse me, April 19th, 2023. And then Jacob Mizorowski with his 14. So not bad company. Not bad company. I mean, this is some rare stuff that we witnessed last night from Jacob Mizorowski. And then also, here's one more, just because there's a ton of them out here about Mizorowski. Again, according to Sarah Lang, she's awesome. His 102.2 miles per hour pitch that he had last night is the fastest by a Brewer starter, again, under pitch tracking, which has been since 2008. And in fact, his 6 fastest pitches so far during that game are the 6 fastest by a Brewer starting pitcher in that span. Yeah, and this was actually from the MLB's Twitter account, that Jacob Mizorowski already owns the top pitch velocities of the day after his first major league inning. 102.2, 101.8, 101.7, 101.4. It's one thing, we're just amazed at the power that this kid has. And it's amazing to see how much power he is throwing. But it's the accuracy too. To be able to get these Ks, to be able to get the swing and misses, to be able to get these guys. It's one thing to throw hard, but if you're not accurate with it all, because we've talked about it before, guys just want to throw hard. They just want to throw hard, and maybe they suffer from the accuracy part of it. Dude was pretty good last night, and he's been pretty good in the minor leagues and such. So, but absolutely fantastic performance last night. It was fun, right? I mean, it was fun to watch. We were able to get home last night after baseball just in time, and shower and change after getting drenched, being outside for a couple hours in the rain and baseball. So we were able to me and Hudson were able to get back in time to watch it and listen to it. And it was so fun to watch. And it's rare to see something like that. And especially maybe a little bit more rare when it comes to Brewers baseball, to have a pitcher of this caliber to be out there throwing it as hard as he was and to be so dominant at that plate. And I'm sure, the more that there's going to be film on him and the more that opponents see, hitters see and such, maybe they'll figure a little bit out in that. But you're also seeing Mizorowski developing more than just, his fastball and a couple pitches. I mean, curveball's going. He had a changeup going. I mean, they were talking about it last night, even on his changeup. The release of it looks like it's a fastball coming out of there, like his hard throwing. And then when you're throwing as hard as him, and just to absolutely fool that batter with his changeup, it was pretty awesome. It was a lot of fun to watch last night. And just glad that he was able to get the run support so he could get his first career win. You get the one run early on in the game, but I think we all kind of felt, watching, listening, however you were with the game, it's like, gosh, I don't know if one run you can hold on to just one run. Gonna need a few more. And then thanks to that 5th inning, hey, tip of the cap to Ortiz. And it looked like too, it's like, because it started off Collins getting thrown out at first. He's on base, takes the walk. Then he gets caught at first base. It's like, oh. And then, Terang gets the hit. It's like, oh, man, if Collins could have just been on. But then Durbin, then Ortiz gets the RBI. Then Frelick batting in the leadoff spot. And then Chirio with the absolute blast hitting the batter's eye to center field. And the Brewers putting up 5 runs in that 5th inning. And then getting Sonny Gray out of the game. Kind of just felt like, all right, this is going to be Mizorowski's night. They gave him 6 runs of support, and they were able to get that job done. Mears comes in, gives him an inning. Brewers didn't have a pitcher warming up, and that's in that final inning of Mizorowski before he went out. I mean, so it took a little bit. Mears had to go warm up out there instead of out in the bullpen. And then Aaron Ashby closing it down with 3 innings of relief, giving up just 3 hits. I mean, you look at it over that those were the only hits too. Those were the only hits by the Cardinals. They got on 4 times via the walk, but just 3 hits, and it was all Ashby in 3 innings in those final 3 innings. So overall, solid game. Solid game. I'm curious to hear from you Brewers fans too. What did you think about the order that Pat Murphy put out there? The batting order. Frelick hitting in the leadoff spot. Terang hitting in that 7th spot. Terang, couple hits. Frelick, though, in that leadoff spot, 3 hits. What'd you think of it, the little bit of an adjustment? You know, because we're used to Terang hitting in that leadoff spot, or if it's a left-handed pitcher, he's batting in that 9 spot, kind of becoming, you know, another leadoff hitter down there. But this was a right-handed pitcher with Sonny Gray out there, and Frelick getting another spot at that leadoff. Do you like it? Kind of like it? I thought it was intriguing. I thought it was interesting. Why not? I mean, Frelick has been, for all intents purposes, your most consistent hitter. He's not a big power hitter. Although last night one of his singles was over, I think it was his hardest hit ball, even harder than the home run that he had in the playoffs last year. It came off the bat 100 and some miles per hour. So he can hit it hard. It's just he's not your home run threat. But the guy just finds ways to get on base, for crying out loud. I kind of like it. I know I'm partial because Sal Frelick, in my opinion, is the greatest baseball player of all time. But why not try it? He's been your guy that's, for this season, the most consistent hitter at the plate. Still, you look at it, his last 58 at-bats, Frelick, 328s, on base, 361. So far this season, 292 average, on base with 355, and OPS was 749. So I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. Go with the guy, go with the table setter that's going to get you on. And then you looked at that lineup last night. You know, you had Frelick getting you 3 hits. Chirio gets the monster home run. Contreras went 0 for, but then Yelich getting a couple hits in his return to the lineup. Collins, a couple hits and a walk, and Terang, a couple hits too. So 12 total hits. Actually, the only 2 batters for this Brewers lineup did not get on base at all. Didn't even get a hit. And that was Hoskins and Contreras. Everybody else had at least a hit or 2, or in Frelick's case, 3. Tonight's game should be another good one. Freddie Peralta is going to be on the mound for the Crew in Game 2 of this 4-game series. A little bit of a later start tonight, by the way. 7:10 is going to be first pitch. So, obviously, Cardinals hitters, pretty familiar with Freddie Peralta here. But going for the Cardinals, too, you've got Eric Fetty, who's a right-hander. And so far this season, he is 3-5 with a 3.54 ERA in 13 games started. When you look at how his season's gone, he had a little bit of a slow April. In 5 games, 5.40 ERA with an 0-3 record in April, but bounced back nicely in May to where in 5 games he went 2-1 with a 3.03 ERA. But in his 2 games so far that he has started in June, 0-1 with a 1.59 ERA. He had a no decision in his latest game against the Dodgers, where he went 5 1/3, giving up 4 hits, no earned runs. And then Texas, where he was charged with a loss back on June 1st, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. And when you look at the Brewers lineup going up against him, you got a couple guys with maybe a game or at least a couple games. Actually, a little bit more than that. You know, Hoskins has the most experience going up against him. In 34 career at-bats, Hoskins actually has had some really good success against him. 34 career at-bats, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, 294 average with a 988 OPS. Christian Yelich has also had some really good success against him. 15 at-bats, 533 average, a 1.230 OPS. William Contreras, also really good success against him. 14 career at-bats, 2 home runs, a 571 average, and a 1.625 OPS. Those are your 3 hitters that have double-digit ABs against Eric Fetty. And they have had some really, really good success against him. Others of note, Joey Ortiz actually, in 8 at-bats, 500 with a 1.250 ERA. OPS, excuse me. Terang, 7 career at-bats, hitting 429 with a 985 OPS. So, I mean, you've got guys, your main hitters with success. Just 6 ABs for Frelick, but he hit 667 against him. Really, the only guy that has actually struggled against him has been Jack Cicherio in 7 at-bats, 143 with a 429 OPS. So, I mean, when you look at this Brewers lineup and their career numbers going up against Eric, maybe this is a night for the offense. And maybe this is a night that Freddie Peralta is going to get some run support, looking for his 6th win of the season. Freddie Peralta, 5-4 with that 2.69 ERA. Coming off of a no decision against the Padres back on the 8th, where he went 6 innings, giving up just 1 hit, no earned runs. And obviously, again, you look at the lineup with the Cardinals, you got guys with a lot of experience going up against Freddie Peralta, and one guy who has had really good success against him has been Nolan Arenado, who in 36 at-bats against Freddie Peralta has had 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, 278 average, and a 944 OPS. The other Contreras, 24 ABs, 292 with a couple home runs and a 1.035 OPS. So, I mean, you got a couple guys over there. And then, Burleson's had 15 career at-bats against him, but just 133. Nootbaar's had 16 career at-bats against him, 250. Wynn, 12 career at-bats against Freddie Peralta, 250. Gorman's got 9 career at-bats, 333 with a 944 OPS. So, I mean, you got a couple guys on here. I mean, your veterans of Arenado and Contreras who have had historically some good success and by far the most career ABs against Peralta. And then a little bit, I mean, even Donovan, 16 at-bats, 125, 0.301 OPS. So your 2 veterans, success. Others, but they're very familiar with him. They know Freddie. They know what to expect from Freddie. I just hope that with the Brewers, with their position players and the success offensively that they've had against Eric Fetty, that maybe they can give Freddie some early run support in this game. Because there has been at times where Freddie just hasn't had the run support in some of his outings. And when you look at Freddie's numbers, breaking it down by the month, I mean, April, he was awesome, 3-1 with a 2.36 ERA. May, solid, 2-1 with a 3.16 ERA. And so far in his couple starts in June, 2.25 ERA, 0-1 record. We talk about all-stars, who's going to be that Brewers all-star representative. Right now, I think it is just a 2-person race. I think it's between Freddie. I don't think this guy's going to get it, but I think he should be involved in it. And it's Sal Frelick. But it's honestly probably going to be Freddie Peralta at this point. All right, your thoughts. Hit me up, C-Bomb, earlier saying that was fun to watch. How fitting was it, though, that he goes 5 innings, no hits, and rolls his ankle? If that isn't an instance of Brewers luck, I was really hoping he'd have a complete game no-hitter in his debut. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll wrap up the first hour here, get back to some more of your thoughts, your comments, and that. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
The Dan Kasper Show will be right back.
When it came time to update the floors in my home, I wanted to make sure I did it right. So I went where I knew I would be taken care of, and that's Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. From the moment I walked through the doors, I could tell this place was different. No pushy salespeople, just a knowledgeable, friendly team ready to help you out. They really took the time to listen to what I wanted, helped me compare options, and showed me flooring that actually fit for my style and my budget. The selection, massive. Carpet, luxury vinyl, tile, you name it. Whether you're remodeling one room or your whole home, they've got you covered. And let me tell you about the install team. They were awesome as well. They were on time, respectful of my home, and the results were spot on. Just beautiful floors that made my space feel brand new. So if you're thinking about new flooring, don't overthink it. Trust the place that I trust. Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. Local service, expert advice, and floors you will love for years to come. Visit Carpet City Flooring Center today at 3109 East Hamilton Avenue in Eau Claire.
Save on your next project now at Menards. For softer skin and cleaner clothes, shop our great selection of water softeners. Morton's Wi-Fi integration allows for tracking and alerts, which puts you in control of your water while at home or away. Morton's look-ahead technology learns and predicts your water needs, saving you money. Save on Morton water softeners. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
If you're a true sports fan, there's only one place to be. That's Sports Talk 105.1. From local takes to national stories, we're talking sports all day, every day. Catch fresh local content like the Dan Kasper Show in the mornings from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and dive a little bit deeper with the Man Cave podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, you can stream all of our programming anytime, anywhere. It's Sports Talk the way it should be on Sports Talk 105.1.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Warmer weather means more time on your feet. Make sure every step feels great. Whether it's running, walking, or working, proper support matters. The Shoe Doctor carries a wide selection of supportive shoes, custom insoles, and footwear solutions designed for comfort and performance. Stop in to find the right fit for spring and summer activities. The Shoe Doctor, helping feet feel their best season after season. Visit the Shoe Doctor today at 2321 East Claremont Avenue or online at ShoeDoctorEauClaire.com, where comfort starts.
Inside the 715 is a podcast that takes you straight to the heart of Wisconsin. I'm your host, Phil Tripper, and every week we shine a spotlight on the people, places, and stories that make our 715 communities unlike anywhere else. From family-run diners to innovative startups, hometown heroes to local legends, you'll hear it all. This podcast is part of the Inside the 715 Podcast Network, your go-to source for everything local. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and have a listen. Find the podcast at AroundThe715.com, at the Around the 715 app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks for listening. And thanks for checking out our live stream on YouTube and Facebook. And thanks for not mentioning that spot on Dan's shirt.
Barbecue stain on my white t-shirt.
I guess that's why he never wears white.
You can't handle the truth.
The Dan Kasper Show.
Going on right now at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. It's the Father's Day sale. You got some Dad's Day deals. Maybe you're looking for some items from the bakery to help honor Dad this weekend, or maybe you want to pick up some items to put up on the grill this weekend. Hopefully, it won't rain too much this weekend, so you can do that. Or maybe you're looking for some gift cards for Dad. Because how about this? Spend $50 or more in participating gift cards, and then you could save 30 cents per gallon on fuel. That's right. So head on over to our good friends from Hy-Vee for any last minutes Dad's Day shopping needs. And, with it being summer vacay and school's out for summer, maybe you need to load up on some more meals and snacks for the kiddos. If you want to save some money and even save some money with some fuel perks, fuel savers from Hy-Vee, go over there and do that. It's what we do. It's what we do every week. Got to load up more for the kiddo and his snacks and that. So we got about 10 minutes to the top of the hour. We'll get back to some more Brewers talk. I want to get your thoughts. Hit me up again with that text or comment on the video streams or hit me up on the socials. Your thoughts from the game last night and Jacob Mizorowski's debut. So we'll get back to that. Definitely going to hit that up with our Brewers guy, Mr. Berg, coming up in just a little bit. We'll finish up this hour just kind of wrapping up Packers minicamp because, Packers minicamp wrapped up last night or yesterday morning, excuse me. So, again, I don't want to fully break down a practice that didn't have hitting or anything like that. But there were a couple of things that kind of, when we look back at this 3-day practice, I think a couple things really kind of stood out. And one is one player that sounds like he really, really kind of stood out from these 3 days. If we're looking for maybe, how do I want to say this? Maybe a dark horse candidates to make this roster. Now, this is very, very, very early speculation or predictions, whatever we want to call it and such. But an early candidate, maybe this Cornelius Johnson. He has just had a fantastic mini camp so far for the Packers. Apparently, he was just making plays again yesterday. So he's a wide receiver, originally drafted by the Chargers last year as a day 3 pick. But apparently he has just had an awesome minicamp. He's been making plays and such. Again, it's 3 practices. I don't want to, start to make some big proclamations that he's going to make the team and be this big-time contributor and such. So I don't want to get there. But I think we have to acknowledge, hey, the guy had a good minicamp, and I think he's going to head into training camp next month, probably with some little bit more of I don't know if I want to say spotlight, but a little bit more attention on him. So just kind of maybe remember the name Cornelius Johnson, Packers wide receiver, that apparently had a really, really, really good mini camp these last couple days. So Isaiah Simmons also got to chat a little bit with the media. Remember, Isaiah Simmons was a free agent addition, former number 8 overall pick a few years ago. I spent the last couple years with the Giants and such. But Isaiah Simmons spoke with the media for the first time. And he talked about why Jeff Hafley is a good fit for him. He said that part of it, though, too, was, when he was talking to other teams, they asked he asked where they see him, what's his role within the defense. And, a lot of people kind of said, we're going to play you all over. We're going to play you everywhere. Where Jeff Hafley essentially said that we're going to play you at linebacker, weak side, strong side, sort of thing. So he asked each suitor what their plan was for him, and he liked Jeff Hafley's plan the best. Instead of playing him everywhere, Hafley told him to focus on, the Will and the Sam linebacker. This was a quote. He said, the NFL, a big part of it is about what situation you're in and where you're at. Placement matters, and every system doesn't fit everybody. I feel like that this is the most comfortable in a system I've been since I've been in the league. Of course, you want to be somewhere through your whole career, but I would rather be in a better system than be on one team for the whole time. So again, when Isaiah Simmons was first signed, you're looking at that versatility. I know what's the attention that everybody gets is when a guy like Isaiah Simmons signs with your team, former top 10 draft pick. All right, here we go. We're bringing in a former top 10 draft pick. Oh, he could play safety and linebacker. Maybe now, kind of a little bit of a glimpse. Sounds like going to be more focused on that linebacker position. And again, I think we need to. This is another guy. Let's just temper the expectations. Yes, he was a former top 10 draft pick. Obviously, a lot of teams loved what he brought to the table when he was going through the draft process. Otherwise, you're not a top 10 pick. Was he potentially in systems? And we see it with a lot of players. We see it time and time again. Was he in a system that just didn't fit his skill set? Possibly. That very well could be. Is he now in a system that better fits his skill set? Remains to be seen. He's still going to be behind guys like Edrin Cooper and Quay Walker and Isaiah McDuffie. Those are going to be guys that are going to be ahead of him on the depth chart. But if he can ball out in training camp and in preseason and such and win a spot on the roster, because I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that he has secured a spot on the roster. But if he can ball out in training camp, maybe he can be a contributor when it comes to the regular season. I think initially, he's probably going to get opportunities at special teams. He was a solid special teams player with the Giants in that. But I thought it was an interesting little nugget from Simmons yesterday when he said, he talked to all the suitors and, you're trying to maybe recruit this guy. You're trying to put the sales pitch on, right? Hey, where are you going to play me? Oh, we're going to play you everywhere, man. We're going to play you everywhere. You got that talent. We're going to play you everywhere. Because it sounds better, right? It's like, hey, I get to do this. I have more opportunities maybe for me to make the team. And here you have Jeff Hafley say, dude, just focus on linebacker. That's where we're going to have you. And that's where he bought in. Another veteran that maybe isn't guaranteed to make the roster and such, but apparently had a couple of good days at minicamp, McCall Hardman, the free agent acquisition from the Chiefs. So he made some plays over the weekend too. Again, I think, you look at the wide receiver depth chart, there's some locks on it already. We know Romeo Doubs is a lock. I don't think he's going to get traded. We know Golden's a lock. We know Jaden Reed's a lock. I would say Dontavian Wicks is more of a lock than McCall Hardman at this point. But I think you've got your four very, 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 very comfortable wide receivers that are going to make this team. So it's going to be the question that pops up for a lot of positions after every training camp. How many at that position are you going to keep? How many receivers are they going to keep? If we consider Golden, Dobbs, Jaden Reed, and I would throw Dontavian Wicks in there because they really like him, as your four, are they going to carry one more, two more, three more? Bull Melton, does he factor into that with his cornerback play? And I love how they keep hammering home. It's not a complete position switch for him. They kind of keep hammering that nugget out there. It's not a complete position switch. It's both wide receiver and corner for him. So do you factor that? And if you factor, okay, that's 5 possibly, and then is it up to Malik Heath and then Cornelius Johnson, McCall Hardman and such? That's going to be one of the positions that's going to be interesting to watch in training camp for those last 1, 2, couple spots, whatever it may be. But yesterday at camp broke down. Hey, McManus hit a 58-yard field goal to end camp early. Dude's got the leg, but then Matt LaFleur apparently bringing in Mark Murphy to break down the huddle because, as we know, Mark Murphy retiring next month at the mandatory retirement age of 70, and apparently Murphy broke down the huddle by saying 1, 2, 3, Super Bowl. So, all right, we only got about a minute and a half until the shot clock cuts us off for the first hour. So coming up next hour, we'll kick it off with a little inside the training room with Dr. Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. So we'll talk, we'll catch up with Dr. Austin Crow. We'll catch up with our good buddy, Mr. Brandon Berg. We'll get back to some more Brewers talk with him, do some local sports roundup. McDonald Central Thorpe softball falling at States yesterday. Fall Creek's in action a few hours from now, about 11:30. Memorial Girls Soccer picking up a win. They advance one game away from punching their ticket to state. They're going to be going up against Kimberly tomorrow. So Express are back home as well tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. So get on out to Carson Park and enjoy some baseball outside. We'll hit that up. The Express picking up a win last night in Rochester. So coming back to Carson Park, hopefully with a little momentum. So, but we'll do some local sports roundup. We got the AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. We'll probably do that in the 8 o'clock hour. And then adding a little bit to Cream of the Crop. Cream of the Crop, bottom of the barrel. You guys can play along. You guys and gals can play along with that too. Who's your picks for Cream of the Crop? Who's your picks for maybe a little bottom of the barrel? All right, so hit me up on that texting line with your picks for that. 1 hour in, we got 2 more to go. We're flying on through on this TGIF. We got some news updates, and we'll be back after these quick words.
WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM. A 715 newsroom. It's your news done differently with Morgan McCarthy.
Well, good morning. Here's what we're learning today. We'll keep those headlines pretty close to us and a follow-up on an incident that happened on campus. It was UW Eau Claire faculty member who flipped over a college Republican's table who now pleads no contest to disorderly conduct. Jose Alvergue entered that plea in court this week and paid the fine. The college Republicans had set up a table on campus to support Supreme Court Justice nominee Brad Schimmel. The group's chair says on April 1st, the faculty member flipped the table over as he walked past it. The Republican Party of Eau Claire County is still calling for him to be fired. Well, across the state, you'll see our flags lowered today, and that is because Governor Tony Evers ordered the U.S. and Wisconsin flags to fly at half-staff to honor former Major General Jerome Bernard, who died at the age of 87. Bernard served more than 4 decades in the Wisconsin National Guard. Services for him will be held today in Hayward and at the North Wisconsin Veterans Memorial Cemetery in Spooner. Well, if you're looking to be active on the local political level, the city of Altoona could be looking for you as Cinder City is seeking to fill city council spots. The position is being vacated by Caitlin Leopold, and that's effective as of August 1st. Applicants, if you're interested, you have to live in District 5, Wards 9 and 10, and you can find some more information with the link online. Easy click at 715newsroom.com. And sure, it's Friday the 13th, but when was the last time you heard the words, "It's not my fault"? Well, it is summer vacation. If you have siblings in the house, maybe they've been playing the blame game for weeks already.
Today is the first Friday the 13th of the year, and traditionally, that means today is National Blame Someone Else Day. You officially have free reign to blame others for being late to work, spilling your coffee, or any other human things we do. But don't go too far with the blame game. Psychologists say we blame others to protect our own ego, and that makes us look bad. So today, it's best to blame the dog. I'm Bree Tennis.
You know, that's actually on a poster that Casper has here in the studio. You know those motivational posters where people are like staring off the edge of a cliff? Character, teamwork. Not him. This is what he has.
We blame others to protect our own ego.
For Sports Talk 105.1, I'm Morgan McCarthy.
Waves of rain and even a few isolated thunderstorms are kicking off our Friday, especially near and north of I-94, thanks to a warm front lifting in. We are going to continue with chances of showers today, although becoming much less numerous this afternoon. It will be cloudy and breezy. Our high in the mid-60s. For tonight, we'll cool off to a low of 52. A few more showers, on and off rain chances this weekend, highs in the 70s. I'm 13 First Alert meteorologist Derek Dahlman.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check you have your phone first, before the cab pulls away.
Hey, thanks, man. No, wait, my phone, come back. It's got my boarding pass, credit cards, phone numbers, my life, come back.
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
If your home's exterior sustained damage in the recent storms, Walker Roofing and the reliable crew can help. Walker Roofing takes the hassle out of the insurance claim process. Walker Roofing has you covered. WalkerRoofing.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports aficionados and armchair quarterbacks, welcome to the Dan Kasper Show, where sports passion meets expert analysis. Dan's encyclopedic knowledge and infectious passion for all things sports is both impressive and sad.
I have many leather-bound books.
So get ready to laugh, cheer, and maybe even facepalm a few times.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
It's the Dan Kasper Show.
Second hour kicking off right now on this rainy, wet start to your Friday the 13th morning. Coming up, we'll do some local sports roundup brought to you by our good friends at Carpet City Flooring Center. Brandon Berg will break it all down. We had Thorpe and McDonald Central falling yesterday at state softball. Fall Creek's going to be in action in a few hours from now. Memorial Girls Soccer, 1 win away from advancing to states. So we'll do all that. Express also picking up a win last night, and they'll be at Carson Park for the next 3 nights. We'll get back some Brewers talk. Still riding high off the Mizz's performance from last night. So we'll take a look at the next 3 games here, too, between the Brewers and Cardinals. We kick off this hour like we normally do every Friday morning, talking to our doc.
Paging Dr. Crow. Breaking down the latest in sports injuries. It's time for Inside the Training Room with Dr. Crow. On the Dan Kasper Show.
He is Dr. Austin Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, joining us this morning. You staying dry this morning, Austin?
So far, but I haven't stepped out the door. So.
All right. Well, grab that umbrella, man. It's been pouring all morning. So, hey, I want to lead off talking, little baseball here. So, Christian Yelich, I want to bring him up because it was June 1st, I believe, he got hit by a pitch in the wrist. And, a lot of people were worried about potentially a long-term injury. X-rays were negative at that time, and he didn't actually miss a game. But then he did return to the lineup yesterday. But before that, 2 games he missed because they said there was swelling that reoccurred from that hit by pitch at the earlier part of the month. Is that normal to, for a guy, in this case, to be hit in the wrist by a pitch, but then have swelling reoccur like a couple weeks or a week and a half later? And is there anything else that could be going along with that?
Atypical for sure. Not something I would expect. That being said, it's possible that he has, just instead of a standard kind of soft tissue contusion, that could be like a bony contusion, because as we know, baseball coming in off a major leaguer's hand, it's coming in hot. So It is possible that this was more than just a standard soft tissue contusion. So bony contusions definitely have more swelling, discomfort. They persist. So I think it does suggest that. I think, there being actual structural injury, I think is pretty unlikely. Generally, when it comes to impacts, it's kind of black and white. Like you break a bone or you don't. And if you don't, it's going to heal and do well. So it's fairly atypical for a direct blow like that to cause, let's say, a ligament injury of the wrist or a tear to the TFCC or some other structure that would make a long-term concern. So I would say this is probably a little blip and shouldn't be much more than that.
Staying with the Brewers, and we've talked about pitchers many times and how hard they throw. Well, last night it was the debut of Jacob Mizz, who consistently can throw over 100 miles per hour, and he did so 14 times last night. So I mean that's a lot. I would imagine a lot of strain on that shoulder and such. But does his size factor in this? He's 6'7", but he's only listed at a $190 too. So I mean he's tall and lanky over there. But
Yeah,
I mean,
Chet Holmgren.
yeah, right, exactly. So, but I mean, he's throwing 103 miles per hour deep into games too. Would you be concerned about any long-term, stress on that shoulder for how hard he does throw? And does his size kind of factor into it?
So yes and yes. So I mean, being that big definitely gives you longer levers. So there's no question. I mean, pitchers with that kind of height are able to just create more velocity just because of the length of their arm when they're throwing the ball, right? It's simple physics. That being said, there's a reason not many people can throw over 100 miles an hour, right? So just what he's trying to do with his body is, again, pushing it to that absolute, envelope all the way to the edge. And at the end of the day, I mean, these guys have been proven they've been able to do it. I mean, this is clearly not his first time throwing that hard. So do I think it's a guarantee he has problems? No, but there's no question that there is a link between that kind of velocity and guys getting issues with their shoulders or elbows or both. So certainly not to be like, well, this guy will be a flash in the pan for one season. Not saying that at all, but would it shock me if he at some point in his career has issues with the shoulder elbow? Not at all. So it is something. And now, of course, they're doing absolutely everything they can to minimize that. So I mean, they're doing significant stretching, warming up prior to playing. A lot of probably therapy and treatments and modalities afterwards to try and minimize those risks. But at the end of the day, I mean, he's taking a baseball and throwing it over 100 miles an hour. So that's something that just puts stress on the joints.
You mentioned those warm-ups and such, and you've seen it, but there, every whether it's a quarterback or a pitcher or a baseball player, they always seems like a lot of people have unique ways of warming up. I think, isn't it CJ Stroud that throws like a golf swing or a baseball bat or something like that? Or Paul Skeens has some unique ones over there too. Is it just is there a rhyme or rhythm about it? Is it just more personal preference? Because I think the other day I was watching warm-ups in baseball, and you had guys throwing footballs instead of baseballs and such. So I mean, is it just maybe Friday the 13th, a little, not conspiracy, but what am I trying to think of? But anyways, is there any rhyme or rhythm to it that it warms up different types of muscles maybe?
I mean, so there are things that you want to make sure you do. So I mean, it's basically some combination of stretching and then warming up the muscles around the shoulder, and then really the entire arm. But I think at the end of the day, how you get there, that's variable. So I mean, there are guys who have their little quirks that they'll do, and they'll have, whether it's, I mean, a lot of them will throw like a weighted ball, or they'll take like a rag and like whip the arm around. Dumbbells, bands are common. I mean, all those things are aimed at getting it loose and getting it, warmed up as far as the muscles are concerned. So really, as long as you're doing that, you're doing the right thing. I mean, it is really critical that they stretch the shoulder, get a lot of internal and external rotation, specifically what we call internal rotation. That's really critical for young throwers. And then getting the muscles warmed up, and then they just ease up. And I mean, that's obviously the whole idea behind a bullpen, right? The pitcher gets there, gets that arm warmed up. So how exactly you skin that cat, a lot of ways to do it, right? But as long as they're doing something, and when people are younger, I mean, there's the invincibility fallacy where people just feel like I'm young, I can do anything. So there are kids who don't necessarily warm up, and that starts bad habits. So I would say even young kids, if they're going to be throwing, doing a good warm up is really critical, and don't forget the stretching. That's something that's often forgotten. But again, at the major league level, I mean, there's literally a team of people that these guys have that'll work with them. So they're not going to leave that on the table. They'll definitely do everything they can. But like I said, throwing 100 miles an hour, it's a rare feat, right?
Yeah. You mentioned the stretchy part. I remember one time when I was in college too. Like I remember this sign. I think it might have been the biomechanics department or something, like trying to do a study, like the different types of stretching. Because I think there was even like a debate, like how much stretching should you do? Should you do more sports specific type of stretching and such? Is there such thing as too much stretching that leads you more open to injuries and such? Have you heard of studies similar to that?
Yeah, I mean, they've looked at a lot of different ways, and I don't think one's been proven to be like the way. I mean, there's the really big categories are static and dynamic stretching. So a static stretch is like you sit there and you bend down and touch your toes, right? That's a static stretch. A dynamic stretch is like you'll do like a goose step while you're running, where you kick your leg out and you're trying to stretch while you're moving. And so there is some thought, I think, that dynamic stretching is probably a little bit better because you're doing kind of a combination of movement and stretching. I usually recommend both. I mean, there's specifically for throwers, there's a couple stretches that I really like that really help loosen up the shoulder that are static stretches, but there's certainly a dynamic portion to it as well. So I think that it's a little bit of both, but there's not been a study that says like you do this and you're guaranteed not to injure, fill in the blank. But we're always looking for percentages. So it's like, look, if we can cut the injury down by 10%, 5%, that's something that's a worthwhile endeavor. And so those things do come up, but there hasn't been any groundbreaking studies on that.
I'm going to try to go back to my memory bank here. Is ballistic stretching the one that is like the bouncing type of stretching that maybe isn't the most recommended type of stretching?
Yeah, I think that probably falls under the category of dynamic stretching, but yeah, I think that would be something that it really never gained the popularity, and it really hasn't become like a mainstay, but you'll get some guys that do this. I mean, if you watch, for example, like if you go to like a Major League or Major League Baseball NFL game and you watch warm-ups, every guy's kind of doing their own little thing, right?
Yeah.
And they're all very different. There's some guys who are just sitting there, again, reaching down, touching their toes. There's other guys who are working on it. Half of them seem to have like their own kind of coach or trainer with them. So like my buddy down in Texas, at the Houston Texans, he's working. So I mean, he basically is bouncing around working with guys, and they each have their own like individual kind of routine, if you will. And I think it's probably part of that as well. Guys just kind of have their routine, and so it's physical and mental too, right? It's like what you do, and so there's that element as well.
Really quick back to Mizorowski, because I'm sure there's listeners saying get to the injury that he suffered last night. So I don't know if you had I don't know if you had a chance to see the video, but he pitched and then he kind of walked backwards and almost tumbled. I mean, a 6'7" man tumbling backwards would have been a sight there. But a lot of people saw the inversion. See my terminology there of the ankle. Thought maybe it's a sprained ankle. Is he going to be out now? But the Brewers are calling it right calf and quad cramping. Now, it sounds like maybe he felt a cramp before that. I mean, he was walking without a limp and such, but I mean, it's kind of hard to ignore the video where it does show him kind of that inversion with his ankle. Is it possible he didn't feel it last night, but maybe this morning he could be feeling a little bit of tenderness with that ankle?
Yeah, certainly possible. I have to admit I didn't see the video, so I don't know. But I mean, yeah, if it's a classic inversion ankle injury, I mean, those are a dime a dozen, so we see those pretty routinely. And so usually it's not going to be a severe injury, especially if it's in that mechanism, just kind of stepping off the mound. But there's a lot of factors that go into that. I mean, if he has a history of ankle instability and this is like the 10th time he's rolled his ankle, those can certainly be more severe injuries, even though they look relatively benign. For them to call it kind of calf cramp, you're right. Maybe he was cramping, and that's why he kind of lost his balance and fell. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't see the video, but I mean, that certainly can happen, right? So you kind of cramp up, and especially if you're stepping awkwardly, boom, all of a sudden if your calf's cramping, you're not moving the way you normally would, and that could throw you off. So hard to say for sure on that one.
Just a couple injuries, because I was scrolling through the MLB injury list, and there was a couple of them I've never heard of, and one I'm going to butcher the name here, but I wanted to get your thoughts on. So Brandon Donovan, who is with the Cardinals, sprained a capsule in the joint of his left big toe. What exactly is a capsule in the joint of your left big toe?
So that is probably a turf toe.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's so the capsule, presumably now. We if it's a turf toe, we usually actually call it the plantar plate, which is a thickening of the capsule. So it's really a thick bottom part, so it prevents your toe from hyperextending. But usually if it's a turf toe, they'll call it a turf toe. So it could be the capsule on another part. So I guess really the toe can get bent any direction, but generally it's going to be a hyperextension. So the toe going up too high, that's a turf toe. You can get the toe pushed in really far, kind of towards your other toes. Like a valgus movement, and that could tear the medial capsule. Or if you got your toe rolled up, so like your toe, you kind of roll over your toe, you could sprain it dorsally. But I don't think I've ever seen that injury before. But I have seen them where they get pushed in, and I have seen them hyperextend. So that'd be a turf toe and kind of a valgus injury. So, but even if it is the valgus type injury, it's going to be in the same kind of category as a turf toe. It's when you injure the capsule that stabilizes that joint. It's going to swell. It's going to hurt, and like we talked about, your big toe, it is a big part of your walking, running, jumping. So it can be, again, it sounds like such a benign thing, but it can really limit guys and what they can do. The good news is if it wasn't a real severe turf toe type injury, it should be something that bounces back pretty well.
Giancarlo Stanton with the Yankees. I mean, he's been dinged up, it seems like, for a long time now, and he's undergoing some rehab games. But what he's going through, this is the name I'm going to try to get it right here, so bear with me. Epicondylitis in both.
Nailed it.
Oh, right, yes, in both elbows. What the heck is that? And how does somebody get that in both elbows?
Yeah, so it is incredibly common. So, I mean, it's also more commonly known as, it depends on if it's medial or lateral, tennis, if it's outer, or golfer's elbow. So we see this. I mean, I bet I'm going to go to clinic here in the morning. I bet you dollars to donuts I see one or two people with this morning. So it's really common. It's in the family of overuse injury. So repetitive movements, either vigorous or micro motions, cause like chronic inflammation in the tendons that come off. So if it's lateral, aka tennis elbow, it's the ones that cock up your wrist and fingers. If it's on the inner part, it's your flexors, so the ones that flex your fingers and wrists. And usually it'll be a little mild annoyance. And so I don't know if you've ever had tennis elbow or golfer's elbow. Actually, it's kind of akin to the turf toe. Like it's like man, tennis elbow, like that's not that bad. Like it really affects a lot of things. Most importantly, it even changes your grip strength. So for a baseball player, swinging the bat, throwing the ball will absolutely be affected significantly. So, and so for him, it's going to create a real challenge for swinging the bat. So there's a lot of different ways we treat it. Sometimes we'll do things just like stretching, ultrasound treatments, modifying activity, cortisone injections. We do use those. There's some literature that says maybe that's not as good, more of a kind of short-term fix. Sometimes people will do like PRP injections, but really long and short of it is you get really significant inflammation in the tendons, whether it's on the extensor or the flexor origin. Again, very common problem, way more annoying than people give it credit for. And again, especially sport like baseball where you're trying to grip a bat, yeah, that's going to be a problem. So and the tricky part, just to finish the thought, is it really takes a long time to bounce back from that. This is not like, oh, you have tennis elbow, take the weekend off, you'll be back next week. It traditionally takes a long time. So I'm not sure how long he's been on the injury reserve, but it is not something that's going to go away quickly. So it can take a while. I mean, I would say 6-8 weeks, not uncommon. And the challenge is okay, let's say he gets over it and then you got to get him back into baseball. Well, that's probably what got him there in the first place. So you worry about recurrence, which occasionally can occur. But usually once you get it gone, it's gone for good. Interesting.
He's Dr. Austin Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Happy Father's Day coming up here. Hopefully the family's got something planned for you this weekend, spoils you this weekend. Maybe
it's a surprise. I don't know of anything yet, but hey, that makes it fun, right?
Exactly. Well, enjoy it, and we appreciate you hopping on every Friday morning with us, and we'll catch up with you again soon, okay?
Absolutely. Happy Father's Day to yourself and all the listeners out there.
Appreciate that, man. There you go, Dr. Austin Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. We'll take a quick break, and then Brandon Berg, he'll be joining us in just a couple minutes.
You're listening to The Dan Kasper Show.
Hey guys, it's Dan Kasper here, and I've been going to Tilden Gun for years, and there's a reason I keep going back. Whether I need some new ammo, a new firearm, or just want to check out what's new, I know I'm in good hands. It's more than just a gun shop. It's a place where you're treated like family. The guys at Tilden Gun know their stuff. They've helped me find the right gear time and time again, whether it's for deer season, turkey season, or just adding something new to the collection. And they don't give you the runaround. They listen. They answer your questions, and they genuinely care about getting what you need. And if they don't have it, they'll work with you to find it. Over the years, I've sent plenty of my buddies their way, and every single one of them has come back saying the same thing. That's a place I'm going to keep going back to. If you haven't been to Tilden Gun, you're missing out. Great service, fair prices, and people you could trust. The only place I go to when it comes to looking for a deer rifle or a turkey shotgun is Tilden Gun. Visit them today at 12427 90th Avenue in Chippewa Falls and check them out online at tildengun.com.
Josh Smith here with Union Trailer and Power Equipment, where big brands meet small town service and the deals. They're hotter than a summer hayfield. Right now, you can score 0% financing on the toughest equipment in the game, and we're talking the best of the best. First up, Mahindra tractors, built like a tank, ready for any job, and now 0% for 84 months, plus $2,000 off on select models. That's right, Mahindra is outworking the field. Need that clean professional cut? Roll out with an Aaron's or Gravely zero-turn mower, 0% for 48 months on machines built for the long haul. Got big jobs? Let's move some dirt with Whacker, Neusen, skid steers, or wheel loaders. And 0% for 60 months and built to hustle. When power meets performance, it's got to be Whacker, Neusen. And hey, we've got a massive trailer selection and all the steel handheld power equipment you need to finish strong. Don't miss out. Swing by Union Trailer Power Equipment today or check us out online. Aaron's, Gravely, Mahindra, Whacker, Neusen. The names you trust, the deals you deserve. Union Trailer and Power Equipment, where quality meets the road.
Union Trailer Sales.
Stop the presses. Eau Claire Children's Theater is bringing the Broadway smash hit musical Newsies to the Pablo Center RCU Theater. June 13th to the 15th, carry the banner with Jack Kelly and his ragtag Newsies as they band together and fight for what's right. Inspired by a true story, this show features memorable music, incredible dancing, and a timeless message for all ages. Seize the day and get your tickets now at pablocenter.org.
Protect your livelihood with the Livestock Risk Protection Policy through Egg Country Farm Credit Services. With an LRP policy, you're covered if the market price unexpectedly drops for fed cattle, feeder cattle, or swine. Coverage options range from 70 to 100%. Get an LRP policy from a team that knows agriculture. Contact your local Egg Country office to learn more. Egg Country, focused on ag, focused on you. Egg Country is an equal opportunity lender and provider.
Broadcasting live from the TDS Sports Talk 105.1 studios, it's the Dan Kasper Show.
You want to cook for Dad this weekend and not sure where to go? Head to our good friends at Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. If you're looking for great deals and friendly service, they've got you covered. I've been shopping there for years, and they've always got fresh produce, quality meats, and everything you need, all at prices that won't break the bank. Especially if Dad wants a good steak or maybe some brats to fire up on the grill. Head on over to our good friends at Mike's Star Market on the west side of Eau Claire. Brandon Berg joining us here this morning. How are you, fine sir?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Been a couple weeks since we got to catch up with you because you were at State Track and Field last week and such. So you are a very, very busy man. Let's do some local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. Track and Field. It's always one of your favorite things to go to, isn't it? State Track and Field and lacrosse.
It is. It's two very, very busy days, as long as Mother Nature doesn't stretch it any longer than that. It's one of those things where you just kind of go into it and it's going to be, you're going to be very, very busy, but at the same time, you're also, it's always worth it. So,
right. And it sounds like a lot of our local athletes had some good results and maybe even some records breaking over there too.
I think for the weekend, the number was like 32.
Wow.
State meet records were broken, and there's a good chunk of them from athletes around here. So
definitely. So nice. And congrats again to all those local athletes. And I know softball, you had a really good piece. I was talking about it yesterday. It's Chippewa Herald. Clover Belt well represented at state for state softball. 3 teams from the Clover Belt there. One of them, your alma mater, Thorpe, did fall yesterday. McDonald Central fell to Pacelli, which Pacelli, if you know your softball, they're kind of a program when it comes to softball, right?
We can start, I guess, with Thorpe. First of all, just kind of seemed like it was just kind of a bad day to have a bad day.
Yeah.
A couple errors here, a couple, mistakes there, that kind of thing. And just, that's one of those things you can't really do when you're at state. Like not a lot of teams win games at state, playing less than like their, B or their A game. And it's just, it's just a tough day against a good foe that in Alma Bancroft. They were runner up to Stevens Point Pacelli in their they're both from the same conference. So, that was a very strong battle tested team that could hit the ball. And, that it just kind of, unfortunately, how that goes sometimes when you're down at state. I mean, you just kind of have a bad day and somebody else doesn't, and it just kind of gets away from you. But obviously, still a great season for Thorpe. I mean, being able to get back third time in 4 years.
Yeah. That's pretty impressive.
It is,
Yeah.
and being able to kind of navigate the waters as the favorite as far as in this Division 5 sectional. I mean, that's not easy to do.
Right.
And then you look at McDonald, and you mentioned Pacelli. I mean, they won the last 2 Division 5 state championships, move up to D4 this year because of WI's competitive balance rule. Still very, very good there. I mean, they were their pitching is outstanding. I mean, even a couple of years ago when McDonald played Pacelli in the state semis, it was a lot of the same players. So you can kind of tell, like, oh, this team's a bunch of sophomores. Like, this team's probably going to be pretty good. And it turns out they were. Obviously, they won state that last year. That year they won it last year, and they got a shot tomorrow. But for McDonald, kind of an interesting year because it was kind of a bit of an up and down year. A younger team. I mean, a lot of their up the middle players are all sophomores, so that team's not going anywhere.
Right.
But they get no hit. That happened a fair amount at state, as we've seen. I think it was the 13th time in state history that's happened at the state tournament. But really for them, I mean, they pitched well. Kelsey Brenda's pitched well in the circle. Defensively, they played well. Just kind of one inning. I mean, all 3 runs were scored in 1 inning, and that was the only inning any runs were scored. So.
Yeah.
Now Pacelli will play tomorrow, looking for a unique three-peat of doing it in a couple different divisions. A little later on this morning, we got Fall Creek in action. They're the 1 seed in Division 3. They'll take on Valders. So looking for
that's another program that's had success lately too. Is Fall Creek, right?
Yeah,
so
and
softball,
that's the last few years. I mean, they've really become not just the the class of the Western Clover Belt, just one of the top teams, regardless of division in this part of the state. So they're going to turn their attention to trying to get a win here and then a chance to play for a title in another division like Pacelli tomorrow.
Exactly. So that softball will wrap up this weekend. We got also, is it individuals tennis?
Team state tennis.
Or team state
individuals last weekend. So team gets underway this afternoon. Actually, Menominey's in action. They're the 8th seed. They play Brookfield Central. They made it by virtue of winning sectionals a few weeks ago in Eau Claire. They had some individuals, as a lot of others did last week down there. But yeah, for tennis, it's always individuals first for the the first week of state, and then the next week is team. So
but
yeah, they'll go. You've also got Altoona's the 3 seed. They're in action tomorrow morning. They're a 3 seed in Division 2. They will take on Kohler. So and both of those, and if you win, basically your semifinals and your finals are tomorrow. Your quarterfinals you have in Division 1 are going on today. So
gotcha.
We're kind of wrapping that up, and it's at Nielsen Stadium, which is right near Goodman Diamond. So
nice.
I'm sure some of our media friends that are maybe down there today for Fall Creek or whoever else, they might just kind of bounce back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. That makes it easy. Thank you to
sometimes the planning works out.
Yeah. So we know the baseball teams too that are going to state and just kind of in our immediate area. I know Hudson's a 1 seed in Division 1. Barron is also going to be at state. They're the 4 seed in Division 3. So some outlier. We got like Fenimore is also in Division 3 as a 2 seed and such, but obviously probably a little bit more familiar with Barron and Hudson.
Right. Hudson want to share the Big Rivers during the regular season. Very stacked team. I mean, the number 1 ranked team in the last state coaches poll of the season, and they've been good in the postseason. Had some work for them when they beat Stevens Point in the regional final, but then came back. Beat Chippewa Falls 13-3, beat Eau Claire North Big 2 to win that sectional championship. You mentioned they're the 1 seed. They're going down there. I mean, that is a deep, explostive team. I mean, it's got a lineup 1 through 9 that can put the ball in play. They got some good pitchers there. I mean, that's going to be a good Hudson. That Hudson's got a good chance to really make some noise. They got Badger, who is the 8th seed, and that's the first games. State baseball gets underway Monday. Goes Monday through Thursday. So. You mentioned Barron in Division 3. A good year for Barron just in general, I think, athletically. You go back to the fall, volleyball won the Division 4 state championship. Their football team had a really good season in the fall. Last fall, kind of one of the best they've had here in recent memory. Now you fast forward here to the spring, and you got baseball going down there, and they're the 4 seed. They'll take on Kenosha St. Joe's. That'll be Tuesday in the in the semis. You mentioned Fenimore. They had won the. Fenimore's not really a team from around here, but they're in that section with teams from around here. So But
a little bit south of our listener, but they're right on the edge.
We might have some, through the glories of streaming online, you could be listening in Fenimore right now.
We got Tom from across the pond that listens to us.
There we go.
Shout out my Uncle Kenny in Virginia that listens to us.
There we go. So
we're worldwide, man.
We are.
We're like Pitbull.
We are. Now, you can't call yourself Mr. Worldwide, technically.
No.
But
I could say we are worldwide.
There we go.
Yeah,
so baseball is wrapping up. We got soccer. We're going to know after tomorrow. In Division I, we got Eau Claire Memorial. They're
taking on Kimberly, right?
They are, yeah. They're still alive after picking up the big 2-0 win, yesterday over Hudson in the in seemingly the annual postseason battle between those two teams. So yeah, they're still they're still around. I know in Division 4, Washburn picked up the shutout win over Regis McDonald. So the Castle Guards, which is one of my favorite mascots, but they'll be going for a D4 trip to state on Saturday. River Falls, number 1 seed in Division 2, they're alive. They'll play on Alaska, who I believe that's who they played last year.
Okay.
To go to state. So that's a rematch when River Falls went to state. So you got a couple Big Rivers teams still in action. Yeah, that's kind of the gist of it for soccer around here. So
nice. So yeah, starting to wrap up this prep season.
We're getting down to it. Last week is kind of the last week because you've got states. Usually state soccer is the last thing that's going on. So, we'll be getting into summer. Obviously, you mentioned the Express. They're well underway. We'll have some
probably getting ready to close out the first half of that season already.
Right, yeah, they're getting going. We'll have some Legion baseball getting going here.
Yep.
With some of these teams now that their spring seasons are done. And yeah, I mean, look, remember this year when we get to August, like the prep season doesn't start later. Like last year it did. That's just how the schedule fell. But this year I think it's like the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, one of those days. That's when football starts.
Jeez.
And this year, so it's less than 2 months away. And remember this year, 8-player starts the same time as 11-player.
Oh.
That was one of the things that kind of with their off-season things that they discussed, they moved that up to the start. So those, you don't get that first week where it's just 11-player. So
was there like a rhyme or reason, or just kind of just making it like easier, like everybody just starts at the same time?
Well, I think a big part of it was they bumped up the size of the playoffs in 8-player.
Okay.
So you just need to and you didn't want to have 8-player playoffs the same week as 11.
Okay.
So I think it was just a matter of and the 8-player playoffs are regular season for 8-man is only 8 weeks.
Okay.
So actually, I believe the way the schedule works out, week 9 will be like the last week of the regular season for 11-player, but then also 8-player first round of their playoffs.
Gotcha.
So because it was 16 teams in the past, I believe they bumped up to 32. Just you're getting more teams for it, and also you could handle to do it because there were some good teams last year that missed the playoffs. I think of like a Gilman who was like 6-2 with losses to the eventual state champion who they almost beat, and McDonald who was a very good team too. So like there was, you can make some arguments on the 11-player side that about the size of the postseason just with everything, but like right now with 8-player, you have your ecosystem is good enough to host having more teams. Let's put it that way.
That's a good way to put it. So, as Brandon mentioned, the Express season, they're back at Carson Park tonight, and they'll be back at Carson Park Saturday and Sunday.
Ooh.
And this is going to be your chance here because after that, they're going to be on one of their longest road trips. In fact, I think it's the longest road trip of the season. I know they got a long one in July here too, so definitely the longest one in June. So if you want to get out to the ballpark this weekend, Rochester tonight, Thunder Bay Saturday and Sunday. So
how long are they gone?
Well, after Sunday's game, they won't be back until the 23rd.
Ooh,
so
that's a good solid week. Plus.
Yeah, and then Sunday is also our sister station I-94's day, Superheroes Day too. But also since it's Father's Day, cool thing they're doing for Sunday. You want to come out before the game, have a little catch with Dad on the field. So that's kind of cool.
Very cool.
Very cool. So, and then I know Saturday night as well after the game is the Chris Cruzy post-game concert.
Big weekend then.
It is a lot going on.
Cooperate, Mother Nature.
Exactly. Sounds like maybe the best time is going to be this weekend with a little break with
a little bit, yeah. So get out and do it.
Yep, definitely. All right, let's take a quick break. Speaking of baseball, I want to dive in and get Brandon's thoughts on the Mizz in his debut from last night. Brewers Talk coming up after these quick words.
Got a take on today's topics but can't call in? Then hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or the text line and let your fingers do the talking.
Melissa Peterson here for Franz and Bank in Eau Claire. Do you want to maximize the interest on your deposits? There is no need to look any further. Earn a premium rate when you open a Real Results checking account with us. Treat your deposits right and take advantage of this fantastic offer. Stop by the Eau Claire office today or conveniently open an account online at franzandbank.com/realresults. Franz and Bank and Trust. Real people, real results. Member FDIC.
Hey everyone, it's Dan Kasper here, and when my family needs some auto work done, I take our vehicles to AJM Automotive in Eau Claire, and I haven't looked back since. The team there knows their stuff and treats you like a neighbor, not just a customer. They're honest, reliable, and they always get the job done right, whether it's a routine maintenance or something bigger, or maybe even getting some new tires. I trust AJM Automotive to keep my car running smooth. Just give them a call today at 715-835-9523.
Service Master of Chippewa Valley is your local expert when it comes to fire and water damage, carpet and air duct cleaning, mold remediation, and trauma. They're when you need them 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Trust comes in the yellow truck. Learn more at ServiceMasterChippewaValley.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RADIO to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RADIO for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RADIO for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
If you were to listen to Dan Kasper nonstop around the clock for a solid month, you'd become the king of all sports fans, desired by beautiful women, and rich beyond your dreams. I think. Try it and let's see. The Dan Kasper Show.
Mark your calendars for Sunday, June 29th. VFW Post 305 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's their Yappy Hour. Humans, $20 per person. Dogs are free. Includes a couple drinks, an appetizer platter, and a free homemade dog treats. Please bring an unused donation for the Eau Claire County Humane Association, such as blankets, dog or cat food, toys. Just no rawhide. No rawhides, please. So this is a benefit for the Eau Claire County Humane Association. Again, mark your calendars. June 29th. It's going to be on that beautiful patio. Sunday, June 29th from 3 to 5 p.m. Bring the pups with you. It's a heck of a deal. Just $20 per person. It includes a couple drinks and that appetizer platter. And the doggy gets a homemade dog treat too. The Mizz, Brandon. Jacob Mizrowski making his major league debut last night. And I mean, this is a guy that we've been talking about for the last couple seasons, in the minor leagues and such. And I think, even this year we thought eventually we would see him at some point, maybe coming through the bullpen, kind of like a lot of other starters for the Brewers over the years have made their debuts, whether it was a Burnsy or a Woodruff or whatever. Last year towards the end, he was getting work in the bullpen at AAA as maybe a potential call up for postseason. Brewers electing to call him up and get the start though. So obviously a lot of fanfare, excitement, and enthusiasm because the guy throws over 100 miles per hour consistently and deep in. I think he hit the expectation last night, at least, right? For first game. I mean, picks up the win, had a no-hitter going, 14 pitches with at least 100 miles per hour or more in his debut. Did issue 4 walks, but I mean, your impression of the Mizz from last night's game 1?
I think it's pretty much, what's advertised, what's expected. Yeah. I mean, you don't come out and expect somebody to, not give up any hits, but
right.
Just you see the velocity, you see the development that's really come with the other pitches. Like,
yeah,
the feel bad for the poor people that were trying to track what pitch was which.
Yeah, I was listening, and they were kind of saying, that's the pitch Statcast or whatever, or the pitch cast.
Yeah, they're having some troubles because like his slider looks like a cutter because of just and then like the
sinker
changeup,
was a
the
changeup.
yeah, like it's just because of how he throws stuff, it's so unique that it confuses a lot of people, not just hitters, but
right.
Yeah, I mean, you saw what he was advertised to be, which he can throw really, really hard, but the reason he is a true legitimate pitching prospect is because of the development and other things. And he's done a better job this year of limiting walks. You mentioned their walks were still there.
Yep.
But it's just, it was just kind of fun to see that next, what people, many people think will be kind of that next one.
Right.
For them.
Right.
Like kind of get to this point.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like that, okay, since they made this call up now, that he's staying up here? I know Logan Henderson, call up was great. Then they sent him down and they talked about the options and such. Is Mizz different though? Do you feel like?
I think so. I mean, I think the fact that they've obviously told Aaron Savali, hey, we're going to move you to the bullpen. Like,
and now he's requested a trade.
Right,
so
right. But like that tells you that they've got a spot for him. And, the Brandon Woodruff thing is obviously, that's just kind of an ongoing thing. We'll see when he gets to the majors and kind of how that gets approached then. But no, I think he's somebody that you don't call him up just to try to make a start or two. Like, especially if it goes well. Like, it's one thing if you call somebody up and you get rocked and something's off and you want to, let them go back to AAA and tinker. But obviously he did pretty well. So, he's earned the right to make another start, looking like that in that Cubs series next week in Chicago. So, but yeah, right now, I mean, they'll probably be a little, cautious on his innings just because that's how they're going to be with a younger player. But at the same time, like, if it's not because of an injury or because of performance, there's no reason he should come out of the rotation.
Right. So, I mean, I think it hit, maybe even surpassed some expectation. Like, I was like, okay, I'm going to temper it. You try to get into, and I mean, the Brewers were hyping it up too on social media leading up to the game. And why wouldn't you? I mean, you have to, but I mean, given just the normalness of like, I'm making my major league debut in front of the home crowd. I've got a ton of family and friends here. And then you go out, and I loved his reaction. Like, afterwards, he didn't realize he had a no going.
Yeah.
Come out, which tells you he was just absolutely dialed in probably.
Right.
At this point. And I'm sure, okay, there's going to be more on him, right? There's going to be more film. Hitters are going to get,
That's always a game of adjusting and readjusting.
Right. So, and it's not to say like all of a sudden he's going to be a bum or anything like that.
It's just that you're going to have to develop as it goes along. And that was kind of something with Logan Henderson too. And I mean, Logan Henderson was never really hit around, but it was going to be kind of about, okay, what's his next move after? Because he really essentially was a 2-pitch pitcher. He was really just fastball changeup. And you really can't, like, some people have found success with only a couple of pitches as a starter, but it's just rare.
Yeah.
So, and it's not ideal. So, it's, I'm sure now that, with him being back in the minors, like, what he's going to be working on is adding that third pitch just to give another look to something. And that was a big part of Mizz, because it was adding, the slider, or saying the curve, throwing that curveball up there a little bit. You got to swing and you got to strike out on a changeup, like just enough. If you can do just enough to kind of put it into a hitter's head, okay, I can't just sit 100% absolute fastball here, because even if it's 102, like a major league hitter can still get a piece of it.
Right. So, and then what did you think about Sal Frelick hitting lead? I mean, he collected 3 hits, and because it was actually shout out to my kid. He's like, Sonny Gray's a righty, and Terang's batting 7th in the lineup, sort of thing. And I mean, yeah, he was right, Sal Frelick, and then he goes and collects a couple hits there. I mean, your thoughts on because it's kind of a unique batting lineup last night with that, but I mean, also Frelick has been the most consistent hitter for this team all season long,
I think
right?
that's kind of what it comes down to, because if you're kind of comparing and contrasting Frelick versus Terang, I think what you would say is Frelick's more of an on-base guy. He's
greatest baseball player of all time.
The greatest baseball player of all time, according to some. That's the rumor.
One.
That's the rumor out there.
Well, maybe his mom too, but I don't know.
That's the rumor out there. But like, I think I prefer Frelick batting leadoff to Terang, just because he's having a better season offensively. And Terang is more of the stolen base threat. I mean, Frelick can steal bases, but obviously it seems like Terang has more of the green light for it.
Right.
But my thing is always like, what are you putting at the top of your lineup? Like, to me, it's about people. It's about having people on base for the people in the middle of the order. And to me, I just think Frelick is maybe a little bit better of a fit for that.
Table setter sort
Yeah,
of
a
thing.
little bit of table setter for those guys, and for the Churio and Contreras and Yelich and Hoskins, etc. Like, I just think he's a better fit for that, and he's just the kind of guy that, because he's like, and maybe it's something too where if there's success, and obviously there was last night, like you can get a little bit more consistency in the lineup righty versus lefty. Where I still think you feel pretty all right putting Frelick leadoff against a lefty. You just allow him to just settle in and just be the leadoff hitter instead of kind of mixing and matching, which I'm not against, but they haven't necessarily found a ton of success doing it. So
right. No, I thought it was. I think a lot of people were kind of maybe pondering about that for the last few weeks too, considering how consistent Frelick has been at the plate this year, right? I honestly feel like, I know it's the push for the All-Star vote and such. I feel like Frelick should be more deserving. I think he's the most deserving position player to be in the All-Star of the Brewers. Just numbers wise, and then I think Freddie's going to get the nod probably.
Yeah, because remember, every team gets one, and
right?
And there's like, if you're thinking of that, you're right. Like position player wise, yeah, I would probably be Frelick. But I still, it's still for the type of player he is, that's still an uphill battle to try.
Yeah,
just because it's the All-Star game. It's such a, homers, RBIs, thing, and that that's just how it is. Like, but defensively, and then you factor in the fact that he's been solid offensively too. Like position player wise, he's making the best case right now.
How big? I know we're a game into it right now, but you look at this series with the Cardinals, and we've talked about this month of June for a long time in this stretch run. So they got off to a fantastic start, sweeping Phillies, right? That was fantastic. You win the series against Cincinnati, and these were on the road, which Brewers so far this season have been a much better team at home, but then they followed up by losing a series to the Padres. They were close games, but they were shut out 2 out of 3. You lose a series to the Braves, a team that has been struggling. They were struggling more heading into that. Now you got 4 games against the Cardinals to wrap up the longest stretch of their home trip. After that, Cubbies, Twins, and then you finish up with Pittsburgh and Colorado. But this particular series with the Cardinals, is it too early to say how huge this series is for the Brewers, or do you think it is safe to say that this is a huge series?
No, I think this is this, especially this next week where you got Cardinals Cubs. Like you have to you can't do anything to take yourself out of it. If you lose the next 3 of the Cardinals, then you lose 2 or 3 of the Cubs. Well, you're a hurting unit.
Yeah,
like this is you get fewer of these opportunities now with the balanced schedule. You're not playing 18, 19 games, whatever it was, against each of the other teams in the division. You can't just say, we'll get the next series. Well, there's not very many other next series. So, you got to make the most of the opportunities when they come, especially as you're trying to figure out kind of how much of a buyer or potentially seller are you at the deadline.
Yeah.
So, no, they're very important.
And I kind of look at it too from, you're throwing out Freddie Peralta tonight. You're throwing out Jose Quintana on Saturday. I know they still listed as a TBD for Sunday. At this point, but you haven't. Would it be a Chad Patrick, Quinn Priester, sort of thing? DL Hall maybe getting that little opener start at that, or
I think in the spot in the rotation is tentatively supposed to be Quinn Priester, so I think they would I think they're just going to probably roll with that. Depending on the lefties atop the lineup, maybe, and then maybe if DL Hall doesn't get used the next few days, maybe then you see that again,
right?
But usually they like to go to that when you got a team that's got, that stacks some lefties at the top of the lineup so you can get that matchup the first time through. So, but I would be surprised if Quinn Priester is not pitching at some point on Sunday. He's pitched well enough that he should continue to be in that spot until obviously a decision has to be made down the road.
I know in the last week and a half or so, one of the biggest frustration from at least our listeners, Brandon, has been Joey Ortiz and his play. And I know we've talked a little bit about it off and on and that. But give credit to where credit's due. It seems like he's been hitting the ball a little bit better in the last few games here and such, but it probably doesn't make up for the overall landscape from an offensive production.
It's a tough hill to try to overcome. Like when you dig yourself that much of a hole within the first month or two, it's just, how much he struggled. Like, and yeah, you're right. You look back at the numbers now, last week hitting 300, last 2 weeks hitting 231, 318 on base, not bad. Like, last month, 222. Like it's it's one of those things where like he's doing better, but not good enough to quite wipe out those, kind of the bad taste of the first couple months. And and it's I share the frustration. Like there's just been a lot of times he's just kind of looked overmatched up there, and just in general that left side of the infield. I mean, that's for a team when a team's struggling to score runs, and you can kind of point to two very obvious spots that just overall haven't produced. It's frustrating. And the unfortunate thing is there's just right now if they're going to make a move, it's going to have to come from the outside. And look, maybe an Aaron Savali trade is kind of the catalyst for that. Maybe there's someone out there that's got some infield depth, and they say, look, we need a pitcher. You guys need an infielder. Let's make this work. As someone that can jump in on that major league roster and just at least try to spark something. Who that is, I don't know offhand, but like
essentially we're looking for that Willie Adames, JP Fire Eyes and trade again.
Kind of, but I would honestly settle for Jerry Hairston in 2011, where a guy that can just come in and or Eduardo Escobar in 2021, like a guy that can just come in and just have a pulse,
right?
Like that can come in and just play every day and actually, not be, kind of a drain on the lineup.
Can I throw out a scenario to you and you tell me? So like, okay, we can Google, look up potential available shortstops or whatever. Could another option be throw Terang at short, put Durbin at second, and then you have your third baseman that's more of a power hitter? Do you look at that?
Maybe. I mean, you could, but that's a lot of moving around in the middle of the season. And I don't know if the Brewers were maybe a little scared off by the fact that Terang playing shortstop in spring had the shoulder soreness, the elbow soreness, whatever it was. Like, I don't know. Like, I would like to see, like, I can understand if you can't just throw something big at both those spots. I get it, but like you got to do one or the other. And if it's up to me, I would still lean towards third base.
Yeah.
I would still, if I had to give leash to one of those two players, it would probably be Ortiz, but still addressing something else, still doing whatever it is to try to get try to get somebody different to try third base. Like, but you can't, like, we've gone past the point of patience. Like there's kind of a moment where patience and production, like you go beyond, okay, I've been patient, but at some point you got to produce. This is the major leagues. Like, and this is a team that has playoff aspirations. Like you can't just sit there and say, well, I mean, we'll just give him all the time he needs. Like, well, it's one thing if you're the Rockies and you can do that.
Right.
But the Brewers really can't afford to do that if they want to be legitimate in their, chase of a postseason spot.
If you had to pick just straightly from an offensive standpoint, who would you rather keep in that lineup then if you can only pick one, Ortiz or Durbin?
I mean, Durbin's been better, but
he's like the Dorn. He'll sit in there and take a hit. I think that stat is fantastic that he's already got the second most hit by pitches in the entire league.
Right. Yes. Part of me still
the fact that you're taking a little bit.
Well, but here's my
close.
rationale for it.
Yeah.
Third base is a much more offensive position than shortstop. So I feel like you can maybe get a bigger upgrade depending on who it is. And again, that's kind of the question here. We don't know, but like, and then trust me, I've been very frustrated with what we've seen out of Joey Ortiz too. But like, I just feel like you can potentially get a bigger upgrade out of third base. Well, and then leave shortstop kind of as is. If Ortiz continues to show this improvement, like if he, as I mentioned in stats, last week, 2 weeks, where if he's hitting, 220, 230 with non-base with like 310, 320, like that's not bad. Like you can work with that, but you can work with that when you've got a third baseman that's hitting his salt. Now, I guess you could also say the same the other way around, but looking at shortstop being a more prime position, even though Caleb Durbin's gotten better at third, I still consider Ortiz to be a better shortstop than Durbin is a third baseman. I mean, and maybe that's not entirely fair because Ortiz has been playing shortstop a lot longer, but I just think you got to do something with one of those spots. And the frustrating thing is in AAA, they really don't have a lot.
Right.
There's just, you've got guys a little bit further
like
down
Cooper
the line.
Pratt's not ready.
No,
to come
he's
up,
kind of been a little up and down. Like he's not someone you want to rush. I mean, really the only guy that I'm kind of interested in at AAA that could possibly play somewhere in the infield is Anthony Siegler, who's kind of he's 25. He's had a really good year offensively at AAA, and they've kind of bounced him around a little bit. Maybe he's played a little bit of third base. Like he would be more third base than shortstop. I mean, right now with in Nashville, he's hitting 301, 440 on base. He's not striking out a ton. He's not a guy that he's got 7 home runs, but he's not going to be a power guy. But still, like if you just want production there.
Right.
And he's someone that's kind of forcing their hand a little bit to say, hey, and he's a switch hitter. You're like kind of forcing the hand to say, hey, pay attention to me. Like, hey,
kind of like what Mizorowski was doing, right? I mean, where you're forced, because I know some people are saying, well, that's not the biggest need. Why are they calling him up? What else did he have to prove, though?
Right. And Stiegler's a little different because obviously he's not a high profile prospect, but like he's been arguably the best hitter in Nashville for that team. Like at some point, you know, you're in that opportunity. So, and I don't know how long that would be, but you know, at some point, let's put it this way: you can't, if this team goes too much longer with just Ortiz and Durbin playing every day shortstop and third, it's kind of tougher for me to take them that they're being serious about being a contender when, you know, at some point production has to matter.
Really quick, you know, I was looking at offensive numbers yesterday, and you look at like home runs. Brewers are like bottom 5, bottom 6. You know, they're in the 20s, and then you know, it's weird because then they're like towards the top in runs scored, but then they're at the bottom of a lot of other offensive categories. Is it just that the Brewers are finding ways to score runs? They're
fast. I mean, they're near the top of stolen bases. Like I seen a stat earlier this week that the Brewers lead the majors. I believe it's in like sprint speed. So basically, they have the fastest team. You know, so like, and obviously that makes a difference where, you know, you can stretch you know, you can go from first to third on a hit and what yada yada yada. But like that's kind of that's kind of carrying them right now offensively, because you're right, they're not hitting a lot of home runs. So like they're having to use that speed to kind of steal bases and, you know, take extra bases and be put in a better spot to score.
Right.
Because the power just overall isn't there.
Right. All right. We got about a minute left until the shot clock cuts us off. So coming up, we'll probably get back to some more baseball talk in the final hour. We've got AJM Pump the Brakes full throttle. So we'll hit that up in the 8 o'clock hour coming up here. We got a little cream of the crop. So if you want to play along with that, you can hit us up with your text at 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, or hit us up on the video streams too, or socials, whatever you prefer, So we'll hit that up. Plus picks coming up at the back end. It's how pivotal, crucial game for Pacers, Thunder down 2-1, must win. Yes, no, maybe so. We'll hit that up coming up here too. So, but last night we had Edmonton getting the OT victory to even up that series at 2 apiece. So, all right, shot clock kicks off right now. See, time that out perfectly. Got some news updates, and we'll be back to wrap up the final hour. Or kick off the final hour, excuse me, in just a few minutes.
WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM. From the 715 Newsroom, it's your news done differently with Morgan McCarthy.
Well, good morning. Here's what we're learning today. We'll keep those headlines pretty close to us, and a follow-up on an incident that happened on campus. It was UW Eau Claire faculty member who flipped over a college Republican's table, who now pleads no contest to disorderly conduct. Jose Alvergue entered that plea in court this week and paid the fine. The college Republicans had set up a table on campus to support Supreme Court Justice nominee Brad Schimmel. The group's chair says on April 1st, the faculty member flipped the table over as he walked past it. The Republican Party of Eau Claire County is still calling for him to be fired. Well, across the state, you'll see our flags lowered today, and that is because Governor Tony Evers ordered the U.S. and Wisconsin flags to fly at half-staff to honor former Major General Jerome Bernard, who died at the age of 87. Bernard served more than 4 decades in the Wisconsin National Guard. Services for him will be held today in Hayward and at the North Wisconsin Veterans Memorial Cemetery in Spooner. Well, if you're looking to be active on the local political level, the city of Altoona could be looking for you, as Cinder City is seeking to fill city council spots. The position is being vacated by Caitlin Leopold, and that's effective as of August 1st. Applicants, if you're interested, you have to live in District 5, Wards 9 and 10, and you can find some more information with the link online. Easy click at 715newsroom.com. And sure, it's Friday the 13th, but when was the last time you heard the words, "It's not my fault"? Well, it is summer vacation. If you have siblings in the house, maybe they've been playing the blame game for weeks already.
Today is the first Friday the 13th of the year, and traditionally, that means today is National Blame Someone Else Day. You officially have free reign to blame others for being late to work, spilling your coffee, or any other human things we do. But don't go too far with the blame game. Psychologists say we blame others to protect our own ego, and that makes us look bad. So today, it's best to blame the dog. I'm Bree Tennis.
You know, that's actually on a poster that Casper has here in the studio. You know, those motivational posters where people are like staring off the edge of a cliff? Character, teamwork. Not him. This is what he has.
We blame others to protect our own ego.
For Sports Talk 105.1, I'm Morgan McCarthy.
Waves of rain and even a few isolated thunderstorms are kicking off our Friday, especially near and north of I-94, thanks to a warm front lifting in. We are going to continue with chances of showers today, although becoming much less numerous this afternoon. It will be cloudy and breezy. Our high in the mid-60s. For tonight, we'll cool off to a low of 52. A few more showers, on and off rain chances this weekend, highs in the 70s. I'm 13 First Alert meteorologist Derek Dahlman.
Please join us for our open house and ribbon cutting ceremony for the Veterans Memorial on June 19th at Smith Funeral Chapel. More info at smithfuneralec.com.
Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs feature helps you stand out and fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
From the hardwood and the diamond to the gridiron and the course, Dan's got you covered with his trademark blend of sports passion and knowledge. He has the sports info you want and the sports therapy you need. So get your game face on, people.
Let's go get some bell, huh? Put up or shut up, sir. We gotta get it started from the jump. Play big. Let's go. It's what legends made, man. It's showtime. Welcome to the big leagues. Let's go.
Because it's the Dan Kasper Show.
Final hour kicking off on this Friday, the 13th. You superstitious?
Ooh, spooky.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know it.
Oh, it's like when you looked at your phone, I'm like, you didn't know that? It was Friday the 13th?
I did not.
How about that? Are you superstitious at all?
I'm a little stitious.
Thank you. I was hoping you'd get that. So, but in real life, are you superstitious?
Not especially.
Okay. I am. I've been better, but I still am at times. So I remember as a kid walking down to the video store on Friday the 13th and trying to get this is the thing too. Like I was probably in middle school and they're letting me rent Friday the 13th. I just realized that a while ago. I'm like, whatever. It's Medford. It's some weird random video store that over there that VHS. It was the VHS time, not DVDs yet. So, but I was like, I gotta go down and rent because it's Friday the 13th. So, which to me, in my opinion, the first Friday the 13th, not that great because it's Jason in the bag mask. Need him in the hockey mask. So got to go with the next one over there. In my opinion. So, but
back before they made Jason into a weenie.
What does that mean?
It means watch any of the later Friday the 13th movies. He's kind of a
you don't like the
softie.
one in space and all that, and
He's kind of a softie.
Okay, him versus Freddy Krueger, which great soundtrack, awful movie. Great soundtrack, but I mean in the final fight scene when they're like fighting and the arm gets chopped off, and it's just like, oh, let's spray it out and all.
How many places do you think renamed themselves the Camp Crystal Lake after those movies came on?
Yeah. See, when I worked at the Y in Rapids, I lived on for half the time, back half, I lived on the house that was on the campgrounds, and I so badly wanted to do like a Friday the 13th.
Just walk around like.
So like my final year there, it was Halloween. I finally did. They let me do like a haunted, and they had this old log cabin, original one on there. Oh, it was the best. Scared the crap out of a bunch of kids. So cool.
I think you should just walk around, just dressed up as
when there was like a wedding going on or something like that.
Walk around the background.
Yeah.
Like don't make it obvious,
Yep.
but like see if people notice you.
Yep. And like just kind of stand way off in the distance in a hockey mask and that. So
and just stare.
yeah. Oh, that would have been so cool. I love scaring people. So, but anybody has any weird superstitions or anything like that, you can let us know. Probably means I'll probably have to turn on a little creepy movie tonight. Kind of got the weather feel for it too.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little
bit. So, tell you what, Brandon, we'll do this starting next week. But along with cream of the crop going forward, because I didn't give you a heads up on this, so it's not fair.
You did not.
But going forward with cream of the crop, we'll start this next week. Cream of the crop, bottom of the barrel. Okay? So we're going to add bottom of the barrel to it.
Okay.
But we'll just do cream of the crop this week because I didn't give you enough heads up.
Okay.
So let's start off, kick off this hour. Cream of the crop. Who you got? Go.
Oh, I think.
I
I can't hear it anyway, but I need to know, sir.
To the top, on balance, off balance, doesn't matter. I'm better than you are, yeah. The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
All right, now.
There we go.
Cream of the crop.
All right. My cream of the crop, I am going to go with Edmonton forward Leon Draisaitl. Had the game-winning goal last night as Edmonton pulled even with Florida. Now it's the best of 3 for the Stanley Cup Finals. But also, he set an NHL record. That was his 4th overtime goal of the postseason. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's 4 overtime winners. Think of that. Like,
yeah.
And there's a reason. I mean, it's a record. Like, for a team that was down 3-0 in that game pretty early on, to come back, Florida scores like 20 seconds left in regulation. I kind of thought they were done. You know, Edmonton was done at that point, but now it's best of 3, and you know, Edmonton's got home ice advantage for 2 of those 3. So I mean, that is definitely pulling your team up when everything's kind of saying, okay, maybe you're done. So yeah, Leon Draisaitl.
I'm gonna go easy on mine. Just say Mizz, the Mizz, cream of the crop for what he did last night. Because I did have a bottom of the barrel, and I kind of want to get your reaction from it, just so we can like pile on this one. All right, bottom of the barrel, the Cincinnati Bengals, with the whole Shamar Stewart thing. I mean, come on, now there's talk about Shamar Stewart could just hold out and re-enter the draft next year if he was this gung ho about
like
this whole thing.
You don't hear of this anymore because it's so straightforward. But yet the Bengals are making what is now supposed to be a very easy, simple thing.
Yeah,
very difficult.
Yes, and alienating players. I mean, for crying out loud, what are you doing? What are you hoping to accomplish in this thing?
Save a couple bucks? Like,
exactly. Your defense already stinks. You already annoyed your other pass rusher, Trey Henderson, who's a dang good pass rusher. So you draft a pass rusher to maybe either replace him or pair up with him, and now you're pissing him off too with something that you shouldn't even be doing to begin with. This is I feel bad for the fans.
Yeah.
Because you've got a great quarterback locked up. You spent money this offseason for Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And you're doing this crap. It's just I don't know what
it's an own goal. Like it's just congratulations. You played yourself. Like you're just yeah, like you said, I just don't understand like what's the goal here? You save a little bit of money? Like, at the risk of all of this that's come out, like you've killed a lot of that goodwill that you've created.
Yeah, exactly. Like what's you know, the Bengals have been notorious for over the years of, you know, Mike Brown not spending a lot. I mean, for crying out loud, now I think they're finally getting an indoor practice facility. But remember when they started to play really well, everybody knows, hey, they got to go out in the middle of January to practice outside because they got nowhere else to go and sort of thing. I almost feel like all the success that they've had, and now they're being forced to like, oh, crap, we got to pay now, you know, because we're actually winning games with Joe Burrow and we got Jamar Chase. We actually drafted well and we did this and that. And now it's like, oh, crap, now I got to do this, you know, sort of thing. And here we are doing just something so stupid. Like, I feel bad for Bengals fans that they have to go through
It's
this.
just like the worst episode of Pawn Stars. Like,
yeah,
he's just like, I just want to give, you know, I want what other rookie staff, and they're like, the best I can do is $20.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I don't get it.
This is why until they, you know, had a couple good draft picks, they were the laughing stock of the league for much of the last several decades.
Right.
Because of stuff like this.
Right. So that was my bottom of the barrel pick. So I figured we can piggyback on that one because it's just, I don't think Shamar, I think eventually the Bengals are going to cave, if you will. But I mean, now if I'm an incoming draft pick, first round pick for the Bengals, that's going to be, if I'm that agent.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Even if the Bengals are like drafting in the 20s or late teens or wherever, if you're a rookie, you got to be, your agent's probably going to give you a heads up on this. And you're going to wonder for the future now, is this going to come up for me? Am I going to have to go through this?
You should, as a player, and an agent, you should never have to wonder, like, okay, is this going to be another thing from the team? Like,
right. Especially like you said, the CBA has made it so much easier for teams to get rookie deals done. That's why you see how many teams already have their classes signed.
20 years ago, there was a fair amount of rookies that held out.
Yeah.
Because it was much more uncapped.
Right.
Now, it's pretty much like almost slotted. Like, okay, this person's going to get there. If you're picked here, you're going to get this.
Right. It's just dumb. Just absolutely dumb. So on that note, we'll take a quick break and then we'll do a little AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes or Full Throttle. So we'll do that. First up, quick break, and we'll be back after these quick words.
The Dan Kasper Show will be right back.
For all of your grocery needs, just head to Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. They offer fresh produce, quality meats, and a wide selection of everyday essentials, all in one convenient location. And now with summer here, you need to load up on more snacks for the kiddos, or maybe some quick meals for all of your running around you have to do. Well, hey, Hy-Vee has you covered there too. Plus, their staff is so friendly and ready to help, making your shopping experience easy and pleasant. So when it comes to your shopping, shop smart. Shop Hy-Vee in Eau Claire.
A lot of folks around here are breathing easier because of Grace Home Respiratory. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory is a local company that puts customer service first. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory provides an array of medical equipment, services, and supplies to help their recovery and enhance their quality of life. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory has the experience and qualifications that exceed their expectations. So when you need home medical equipment and services, turn to Grace Home Respiratory not only for the equipment you need, but for their dedicated staff of respiratory therapists who are on call 24 hours a day. To find out more, call Grace Home Respiratory at 715-832-7377 or online at ghr-ec.com.
Grace Home Respiratory always has your health and safety as their top priority. Your expert when it comes to medical equipment and supplies. Choose Grace Home Respiratory.
Grant here for Kai's Chevytown, just off exit 41 I-94 on the north side of Menominee. A short drive from anywhere. They helped put me in my new Malibu back in September. They've been helping folks with their vehicles for 3 generations. Not just buy and sell their cars, but service them. Keep them safe and reliable and on the road. That service department is the best in town, and it's because of the people, and they're looking to add to their team. Kai's service department is 18 service bays with about 1.5 bays per tech, so it's efficient and productive. You're always going to have work. There's never any lulls. You're never going to be standing around. Heated and air conditioned for year-round comfort. Kai's will guarantee your hours, so you'll always have work. They'll match your 401k, health, and dental, paid vacation. They'll pay to train and certify you in whatever you need. They're a family-run business. They have been for 3 generations, and they treat everyone on their team like family. So if you're looking for steady work with great benefits and great teammates, go online to learn more and apply. ChevytownUSA.com. Be wise. See Kai's for the best buys.
Come see the Eau Claire Express. This season at Carson Park, watch the Express take the field in their new uniforms and logos and see the all-new WNB Financial video board in the outfield. You can buy your general admission and grandstand tickets, check out the 2025 Eau Claire Express schedule, and see all the summer team promotions at EauClaireExpress.com. And get more info at the Eau Claire Express Facebook page. Enjoy summer baseball. with the Eau Claire Express.
Broadcasting live from the TDS Sports Talk 105.1 studios, it's the Dan Kasper Show.
Dad needs to get an oil change, maybe some new tires for his vehicle, or just needs to get some maintenance done. Head on over to AJM Automotive Service on Brackett Avenue in Eau Claire. Heck, they do a lot of different stuff, whether it's maybe some trailer work or maybe he needs to get the lawnmower fixed. They can work on small engines as well. So treat Dad this year by maybe getting that vehicle or small engine of his repaired with the help from our good friends at AJM Automotive in Eau Claire. Just give them a call today, 715-835-9523. AJM also a partner of the 5th Annual Kasper Classic. And you better sign up for your team because we only have a couple spots left for that 10 a.m. spot. So join in, and Brandon's golfing in the 10 a.m. slot. So I got to turn the right mic up for you. Rookie move by me. So
Dan doesn't want you to know I'm golfing, but I will be there.
So there's only a couple spots left for that 10 a.m. A few more for the 1 p.m. Just go to sportstalk1051.com and get your team signed up. It is, I will keep saying this because we still have questions. I don't know how much clearer we can make this. $90 per team.
Yes.
Not per individual, per team.
2-player teams.
2-player teams.
I am
90.
golfing with someone. My team costs $90.
Yes. Thank you. So, and that includes your 9 holes. That includes your cart. That includes your meal. That includes some drink tickets. And it's Friday, August 1st at Lake Hallie Golf Course. So big thanks to Lake Hallie for hosting us this year. I love golfing over at Lake Hallie Golf Course.
Have we figured out whether we're going to go front or back?
We're gonna go on the upper. We're gonna go
To
on
the back?
upper. Yeah.
Back,
Yep.
okay.
Yep. So we'll be up there and such. So, but a big thanks again to Lake Hallie for hosting us and our other partners. That includes Park Ridge Distributing, Hy-Vee, Carpet City Flooring Center, as we mentioned, AJM Automotive, VFW Post 305, Edward Jones Financial Advisor, Kelsey Nikolai, the Dudach as well, Economy Furniture, and Myron Construction. We are looking for, we want to knock it out of the park with raffle prizes this year. So if you're not a golfer, but you want to help out because this supports Backyard Dreams, we are looking for prize donations for our raffle because we want to knock it out of the park this year. So if you're willing to help out that way, reach out to me. All right, just shoot me a message on Facebook or hit me up with an email and such if you're willing to help out. So big thanks. I know Economy Furniture's donating a chair and such, and we've got some other stuff going on.
I'm interested.
Yeah, I figured you would be. I got the email.
I enjoy sitting and being comfortable.
I got the email from the Packers that they're going to be sending something just last night. They emailed me, so we'll have that too. So, all right, let's do a little AJM Automotive. Pump the brakes, full throttle, shall we? You ready for this? Pump.
Dun, 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 dun. You said, "Are you?" Come on.
That was pretty lame.
That was pretty lame.
Pump the brakes, full throttle. Jacob Mizorowski is guaranteed to be a full-time starter for the rest of the season. Coming in hot right away on you.
Are we assuming this, like, no injuries or anything?
Yes.
Basically,
Not like,
based by his home performance.
Yes.
I'm going to say full throttle. I think that they're going to be willing to kind of work through some, hiccups he might have control-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at this point, you just kind of plan on him being in that spot.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say full throttle too. I'm going to full throttle this. That doesn't make sense. But yeah, I think so too. Would it be, let me ask you a follow-up. Would it be different if they call him up for bullpen?
Yeah. It would.
That he'd be going sent back down.
And I think the thing that kind of helps that case too is right now you got Dale Hall and Aaron Ashby kind of doing what you have Jacob Mizorowski doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you have a glaring need for a multi-inning reliever. You have two of them that are not only pitching, but pitching very well right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really need to.
Right. So yeah, that's what I figured. The fact that they did call him up as a starter, it almost kind of figured that he will probably stay there. Pump the brakes, full throttle. Aaron Savali will not pitch another inning for the Brewers.
Ooh, I kind of want him to pitch last night. I'll be honest. I'm going to pump the brakes. I think he'll get traded sooner than later, but I just think there could be a mop-up time where he comes in and pitches an inning or two. So I say he makes like one more appearance, but I think he'll be traded sooner than later.
Yeah, I'm going to pump the brakes too. I agree with you. I think there'll be an inning or two that he'll come in, whether, like you said, do you think it'll be like a high leverage situation?
I don't. I think
either.
it would be a spot where maybe you could throw them a couple innings. Maybe it'd be nice if they're up like 9-1 in the game, but it might also be where they're down 9-1 in the game. But like just a time where kind of a bullpen saver day, where because I think you're going to still want to pitch him in longer outing if you can, just because he's stretched out, so you can use it.
Yep. Pump the brakes, full throttle. From everything you've heard in the last week plus, you feel a lot better about Giannis staying in Milwaukee.
Full throttle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny because like we've heard so many times over the years, it's been like, let's just wait and hear from Giannis himself, as other people speculate, and that's just always kind of been the way with him because he just doesn't let a lot out.
Mm-hmm.
But no, just kind of based on what you're seeing and what kind of the things he's saying and stuff too. Like, no, I feel confident that he wants to win in Milwaukee.
Yep. Yeah, I would say full throttle with that too. And
where's your numbers at? Because you were
I'm at like I'm pretty. So 0 means he stays, 10 means he's gone. I'm at like 3.1.
Okay, because you were between like 4.8 and 5.2 for a bit.
Yep, I'm like 3.1 now.
Okay.
So I'm feeling a lot better about it. Now I also feel like, okay, if he's coming back, if he's like back this year, I feel like it's not a 1 year thing. Because I feel like it's the gap year. So you got to, there's going to be a commitment for a couple of years.
Yes. It's not, I would agree. It's not like you're coming back with the idea of like, okay, well, you better win next year. It's like, well, I think you already kind of know that you're not going to be putting your best foot forward next year because of the injury to Dame Lillard.
Yep. So my next one is, I don't know if our mutual friend Nick is still listening. If you are, Nick, I hope you appreciate this question. Pump the brakes, full throttle. Bo Melton will lead the Packers in interceptions this upcoming season. So
I will allow you to go full throttle, but I'm going to pump the brakes on that.
Oh, thank you for giving me the honors.
You get the honor
of saying that. Yeah, no. No.
Is he going to keep number 80 though? If he's a defensive back?
Well, here's the thing. It's not a position change. It's practicing at both. So it's not complete position. He's Travis Hunter 2.0.
Or is Travis Hunter Bo Melton 2.0?
That too. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Is Travis Hunter Bo Melton or is Bo Melton Travis Hunter?
Back in my day, the Vikings had a guy by the name of Robert Tate, who was a receiver at one point, and then they changed to a corner. It didn't work well for him.
Yeah.
That's just the end of the story.
Okay. I thought you had more.
For Robert Tate. This is like late 90s, early 2000s when it was a real struggle at the cornerback spot for the Vikings.
I thought maybe you had a little bit more to go on that one, but usually when you see a guy that's at a little bit of a position of depth and all of a sudden he starts practicing at another position, it probably doesn't bode well about the security of your job on that team. So,
but Bo Melton will always have that Sunday night game against the Vikings a couple years ago.
He will. He also what game was it that I was at? Was it the Bears or the Cowboys? I can't remember which one it was, but it's like he was the first Packer that season. Jordan Love's first to have 100 yards in a game. I was like, because I remember in the car ride home and I just kept saying out loud, "Bo Melton, Bo Melton," But more you can do, I guess. Pump the brakes, full throttle. It is do or die game 4 for the Thunder.
Full throttle.
No,
you can't go down 3-1 to the Pacers.
Nope, you can't. I would agree with that. I mean, I will say this. The Pacers are doing better in the finals than I thought. I thought this would be done in 5 for the Thunder.
I thought they'd hang around, but like it's one of those things for you with the Pacers. I don't like the Pacers, but at this point you just gotta kind of throw your hands up and say, you know what? You gotta respect it.
Yeah.
Like the amount of just clutch shots, the way they play down the stretch with things, like you just Whether you like it or not, you got to respect the fact that they're going out and doing it.
If the Pacers end up winning this thing, is Tyrese Halliburton, pump the brakes, full throttle, a top 10 player in the NBA?
I'd have to look. I mean, I don't have the list.
Throw Giannis, throw Luka, Tatum. Even I know he's hurt, but still.
Doncic. Sorry, not John. Sorry.
Luka,
Nikolai.
Jokic.
Sorry.
Still throw LeBron in there.
Yeah, still throwing LeBron in there.
Shai Gilgeous, MVP.
Yeah, I mean, I would say probably is like that latter half of that.
In the top 10?
I think
Tyrese?
so. I think so.
I'll probably pump the brakes. Top 20 for sure. Maybe even top 50. Probably top 50.
Hater.
Oh, I don't like Tyrese Halliburton. That's straight up. I'm a talking head, so he obviously hates talking heads. So I don't appreciate the opinion, Tyrese. I don't want to use the word hate. So I don't appreciate the opinion, Tyrese. So, but no, I mean, I gotta tip their cap. I thought the Thunder were going to come in and kind of, I thought Pacers would come away with like one win at home or something like that, but I think they're playing. They almost feel like they're playing. The Pacers are with the we're not supposed to be here. We got nothing to lose. Sort of house money. They're playing really relaxed for a team in the NBA Finals. I feel like, it's impressive.
Yeah,
it bothers me because I don't like the Pacers, but it's pretty darn impressive. So, pump the brakes, full throttle. I'm going to go with a wild card one on this one. Pump the brakes, full throttle. Pete Carroll's going to win NFL Coach of the Year this year. Yeah, very random, right?
I'm going to pump the brakes.
I'm going full throttle. I'm buying into the Pete Carroll hype right now. I don't know why, but I have this weird gut. Like I was reading some stuff over the weekend, and just kind of like people were talking, culture change and all. I think Pete Carroll is going to do some good things for the Raiders. I really do. I think if I had to pick right now on June 13th,
because it's Friday.
It's Friday 13th. Yeah, Raiders are going to be one of my surprise teams this year. Maybe not, they obviously they play in a division with the Chargers and the Chiefs and that. Raiders are going to be a better team this year. Just because of the emergence of Pete. I like the Ashton Genty pick. I know you and I were both high on that one. Yes, they brought in Geno Smith and that. I mean, look at those Seattle teams, especially the back half of Pete Carroll's tenure, where they weren't supposed to do anything. And they just kind of consistently were there. I could see that being like that Raiders team, like where they're going to be maybe a 9-8 or a 10-7 sort of
But
thing.
you don't like playing them.
Yeah, right. Exactly. They're going to be boring to watch, right? I mean, they're not going to be flashy and like Kansas City.
And that, like, even you look at their draft, like they kind of were a little bit of the old school Raiders in that, like they were drafting receivers that were just really fast. They drafted like 2 quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just, yeah, like they'll be entertaining. They will, if you have NFL Sunday ticket, they will be a fun team to watch in that late window.
Mm-hmm.
They may not. I mean, again, they may not win 15 games or something like that, but like they're going to make life tough in that division.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I just feel like Pete Carroll is the perfect like Raiders coach. Like I almost wish Al Davis was still around to, I feel like that'd be a good pairing between the two, if you know what I mean. So I thought I had one more. Let me bring up no, that was it. So those are my pump the brakes and full throttle questions over there. Looks like I won again for this week. So what? I mean, right? I won. So got nothing going on over there. What are you laughing at?
You won.
I did win. Like I always do. All I do is win, no matter what. Yeah, okay. I do want to bring this up. Switching gears here a little bit. Did you see this report about Wade Miley?
Yes.
I mean, what a I don't know, crazy like
yeah. I'm honestly not sure how to talk about it.
Yeah. So if you haven't, remember Tyler Skaggs, the Angels, who died of an accidental overdose in 2019. So his former agent, Ryan Hamill, said in a deposition that Skaggs told him he was using pain pills that were provided by Wade Miley. These pills containing oxycodone. So, and this is a deposition part of a wrongful death lawsuit. So I don't know how this is going to transpire. Now, he's not facing criminal charges, Wade Miley, and it's not the first time apparently his name has been come up in relation to Skaggs' death. This is from ESPN. During the sentencing phase of Kay's case, prosecutors used a recording of a conversation between Kay and his mother in which Kay said Miley was one of Tyler Skaggs' drug suppliers. So this is also Matt Harvey, the Dark Knight, now a retired major league pitcher, testified during the trial that he provided drugs to Skaggs. Harvey was later suspended for 60 days. He didn't pitch in the major leagues again. Harvey and 3 other league players also testified they received pills from Skaggs and described the recreational drug use they witnessed while with the Angels. So, I feel like now that this is out there, you kind of wonder if something else is going to pop up. Like, is he going to continue to pitch? Like he's with the Reds right now.
Yeah,
like he's pitching. So I
but
mean,
again, it's one of those things where he hasn't been charged anything. But like, I don't know. Like, I just,
it's.
I'll admit this is not my wheelhouse in discussing. So.
No.
Yeah,
it's just I bring it up because I mean, former Brewer,
right?
I mean, and a lot of go back to the offseason too, where people were questioning like, hey, and I'm not saying this is not why they didn't bring him back, but it's like, hey, there's a lot of Brewers fans that still wanted Wade Miley to come back, and why didn't they bring him back for a veteran arm? But it's just kind of crazy, because it's a name we recognize.
Yes,
it's a name we know as Brewers fans. So if you haven't seen it, that's out there right now, and it's a headline for sure.
It's wild.
It's definitely wild. So, and we did get to see Wade Miley against the Brewers.
He did in that
Red Series. So. But yeah, it's kind of all over the place if you want to check it out. Really quick, U.S. Open leaderboard. I was really hoping Rory was going to be able to finish his strong start from yesterday, and he did not. But JJ Spawn, still your leader at 4 under. But Brooks Koepka right now, he's on the course. He's already 7 holes in, and he's 2 under, so he's within striking distance. Do you even care if it's not the Masters anymore? Is golf at this point? Do we even care?
I think my second favorite, honestly, the other one I usually watch a good amount is the British Open.
The Open.
The Open. Come on. I think it's just the fact that it sounds super early in the morning.
Yeah.
Like that's the other one where I'm like, oh yeah, this is, But like when you go back to like the Tour Championship, I don't know. I don't like the Tour Championship being in May.
Mm-hmm.
And then the U.S. Open, it's tough. For me,
the Masters, it's almost very NASCAR-esque.
Yeah, the Daytona 500 being right away.
Right. And, they've got all offseason to just pipe up the Masters, which they do. You're watching it during college basketball.
Yeah. And you're seeing the commercials for CBS all throughout, NCAA tournament or earlier.
And then they suck you in, and it's the beginning of spring, so you're getting through winter, and you're talking golf, and I get that, and it's just
the
the
azaleas
majestic
are in bloom.
Yeah, exactly. So they got that going for them, which is nice. But after that, I'll be honest, this week began, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess the U.S. Open is starting here. I feel like it's lost its unless you're a diehard golf fan or anything like that. But I feel like PGA has definitely lost a lot of luster, in my opinion. The U.S. Open is like, oh yeah, it's there, but then I don't know. I feel bad. I really like golf. We both play golf.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be a big golfer.
You golf all the time.
Not great. I do not golf all the time. You'd think I do. No, but what can save it outside of Tiger Woods?
The
whole thing was too. Was it last year, a couple of years ago? Is like. Can't have a live guy win the U.S. Open because that's anti-U.S. Open. So that's not even a thing anymore.
No, we've kind of moved on from that.
Right.
It's just golf is driven by stars.
Mm-hmm.
You just
I feel like there would be more talk about this if Rory won PGA, because then you're talking about the Grand Slam.
Right.
Then that automatically just goes
it's all
into
about. It's all about you're all driven by your stars. Look at any sport or anything And right now, your stars, obviously Rory won Masters, but you've got
Scheffler's a star, but he's a Tim Duncan star.
Yeah, exactly. He's he's the big fundamental of golf. He's very, very, very good.
Yep.
But he's just not that larger than life personality.
Like a DeChambeau,
right?
Who is the larger than life personality right now?
Yes.
So maybe if he's in contention, that gets a little bit more.
Right.
But I also feel like, too, is it just one of those Thursdays and Fridays nobody pays attention to?
That could be, yeah. That's
Then
part
you
of
get
it,
to
too.
the
It's
weekend.
tougher. It's tougher.
Whereas the Masters, yeah, a lot of people are paying attention to all four. But the other ones, it's kind of like maybe it's like talk to me in so-and-so when you hear about like a baseball season,
Right.
or like talk to me in May,
Or it's like,
you know.
or like a NASCAR race. Like no one remembers who won the first stage of the Daytona 500.
Mm-hmm. Right. So maybe it's just one of those like, okay, talk to me on moving day.
Right.
When it comes to golf. So, all right. I'll tell you what, let's take a quick break and we'll start to wrap things up here. We got some picks and such. Brandon and I are going to do a top 5 really quick after we get done here too. So stick around. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
You're listening to the Dan Kasper Show.
Josh Smith here with Union Trailer and Power Equipment, where big brands meet small town service and the deals. They're hotter than a summer hayfield. Right now, you can score 0% financing on the toughest equipment in the game, and we're talking the best of the best. First up, Mahindra tractors, built like a tank, ready for any job, and now 0% for 84 months, plus $2,000 off on select models. That's right, Mahindra is outworking the field. Need that clean professional cut? Roll out with an Aaron's or Gravely zero-turn mower, 0% for 48 months on machines built for the long haul. Got big jobs? Let's move some dirt with Whacker, Neuson, skid steers, or wheel loaders. And 0% for 60 months and built to hustle. When power meets performance, it's got to be Whacker, Neuson. And hey, we've got a massive trailer selection and all the steel handheld power equipment you need to finish strong. Don't miss out. Swing by Union Trailer Power Equipment today or check us out online. Aaron's, Gravely, Mahindra, Whacker, Neuson. The names you trust, the deals you deserve. Union Trailer and Power Equipment, where quality meets the road.
Union Trailer Sales.
Service Master of Chippewa Valley is your local expert when it comes to fire and water damage, carpet and air duct cleaning, mold remediation, and trauma. They're when you need them 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Trust comes in the yellow truck. Learn more at ServiceMasterChippewaValley.com.
Not everyone who handles your personal information is going to be as careful as you are. It takes just one mistake, and then all of a sudden you're exposed to hackers and identity thieves. That's why there's a new victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the United States. But fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock is going to monitor hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. If your identity is stolen, a LifeLock US-based restoration specialist will help solve it, guaranteed, or your money back. Plus, LifeLock plans are all backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, meaning LifeLock will reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. You can't control how diligent other people are with your information, but with LifeLock, you can help protect it. Right now, save up to 40% off your first year. Promo code Patrick at LifeLock.com. So save up to 40% with the promo code Patrick at LifeLock.com. Terms apply. LifeLock, for the threats you can't control.
Experience movies the way they were meant to be at MyCon Cinemas. Here's what's playing now. Lilo and Stitch, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, Bring Her Back, Ballerina, How to Train Your Dragon, Materialists, and The Unholy Trinity. For theaters and showtimes, find them online at myconcinemas.com.
Has anyone told you how amazing your business website is? I didn't think so. Do you think it's just sort of Websticks has taken thousands of websites from to amazing, and you only pay for the help you need with blocks of time that never expire. It's kind of brilliant. Websticks. Find out more at websticks.com. That's websticks with an X.com.
Stunning sights, more clicks, web support from Websticks.
That's what scrolling used to sound like. Turning the page on a new tech era, you can easily get headlines, information, and local news by today's version of Turning the Page, scrolling for headlines. And let's face it, with everything going on today, it can sometimes seem overwhelming just to try to find information. And that's why we try our best to make things simple, accessible, and easy to use. We'll try to make sense of what's happening, and you can find it when you have time. It's on demand, it's on your device, and if it's on your mind, it's on the 715newsroom.com.
Save on your next project now at Menards. For softer skin and cleaner clothes, shop our great selection of water softeners. Morton's Wi-Fi integration allows for tracking and alerts, which puts you in control of your water while at home or away. Morton's look-ahead technology learns and predicts your water needs, saving you money. Save on Morton water softeners. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Dear Brewers fans, where do you find the best views and the most electrifying baseball action American Family Field has to offer? The answer is Toyota Territory, located in right field. This Grand Slam experience covers all the bases and gives fans in the stands an exclusive live look at our home run hitter, the Toyota Land Cruiser. Creating a lasting legacy, the Toyota Land Cruiser is seasoned to perform like your Milwaukee Brewers. Add Toyota to your lineup today. Now batting, Toyota.
If your home's exterior sustained damage in the recent storms, Walker Roofing and the reliable crew can help. Walker Roofing takes the hassle out of the insurance claim process. Walker Roofing has you covered. WalkerRoofing.com.
Maybe you miss parts of the Dan Kasper Show because of the clown that lives in the sewer.
Will do.
Don't worry, you can get highlights of the show on the Man Cave Podcast, available on your favorite podcasting platform.
Your work done right, go to Post Glass and Mirror in Chippewa Falls. They handle everything from auto glass repairs to custom mirrors for your home or business. Their team is professional, reliable, and gets the job done quickly without cutting corners. Plus, they stand behind their work. If you want quality glass and mirror service you can count on, check out Post Glass and Mirror in Chippewa Falls. All right, let's wrap it up with some picks, shall we? Brandon Berg. Who are you rolling with game 4 tonight between the Pacers and the Thunder? Wait, I got to turn your mic on again. I'm sorry.
Oh, I can go now?
Yeah, you can go.
I'm going to take the Pacers.
No, you said Thunder with the mic on.
You never heard me say that because my mic wasn't on.
I heard you say Thunder.
You did not hear that. I'm going to take the Pacers just for that.
No,
take that.
You're not.
Take that.
Are you serious? No.
Yes.
I'm going Thunder. You're nuts.
Pacers.
No, it's Thunder. Lock it down. It's going to happen. It better, because I don't want the Pacers to win. Golly. Yeah, no, but I'm legit going to go Thunder tonight. So, and then, okay, so that's Monday. When's game 5 for the Stanley Cup Finals coming up here? It's got to be this weekend.
I think Saturday.
Is it Saturday? It is Saturday. Well done. Florida at Edmonton. Who are you going to roll with?
I'm going to go with Florida.
I'm going to go Edmonton.
I think this one goes 7.
I do too. So I'm going to go Edmonton. Although Edmonton's wins have been very close, which makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Makes me really nervous. So, all right, let's do baseball. Now, these are just for the series. I know some of them already started, but, you know, like Brewers and Cardinals and that. Let's go Pittsburgh at Chicago. Paul Skeens, is he going to get any run support in this start?
Probably not. I'm going to go Cubs, 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
after they won last night.
I'm going to go Cubs too. So let's do Marlins Nationals.
Ooh, heavy hitters. I am going to go with the Marlins, 2 out of 3.
I'm going to go Nationals. Blue Jays, Phillies.
Phillies are kind of struggling, but they've picked the nose up here a little bit more recently. So I'm going to go Phillies.
They picked their nose or picked the nose up? Okay. I'm going to go
Phillies. They
Phillies.
didn't pick their nose.
Well, they might have. You just don't know. So I'm going to go Phillies too. Angels, Orioles of Stanley Boyd. Baltimore.
I'm going to go with Baltimore.
Is it the rodeo? Father's Day weekend? Stanley Rodeo? No. Is it? Let me double check. I could be completely wrong on this.
You sure could.
No, June 13th and the 14th. Yeah. See, I knew what I was talking about. It's Father's Day weekend. Yeah.
You go?
No. I'd like to go to a rodeo. I'd like to go check one out. I want to ride a horse yet. and wear a cowboy hat and pretend I'm in Yellowstone. So that's the only reason.
And take land from people.
You've watched Yellowstone?
No.
Okay.
I just know the gist of the show.
Who'd you pick? Angels or Baltimore?
I went Baltimore.
I'm going to go Baltimore.
Before we got off on a tangent.
Yeah, which we usually do. Reds, Tigers.
Tigers. They're playing it really, really well.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tigers too. Yankees, Red Sox in a, I wish was still kind of a rivalry, but it's not.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm sure ESPN will pump it up as one, but I'm going to take Yankees.
Garrett Grosh, yeah, I'm going to go Yankees too. Tampa and the Mets.
Meet the Mets. Greet the Mets.
They're playing really good too. Kind of a little bit under the radar. I mean, they did have the best win percentage entering the games yesterday, even over the Tigers. So, yeah, I'm going to go Mets. Rockies, Braves, do I need to ask?
I'll go Braves.
In Atlanta too.
I gave him a look like, maybe I'm thinking about it, but.
A's, Royals.
Royals.
Yep, same. Nope. Padres, Diamondbacks.
I'm going to go Padres.
I am going to go Pods too. Guardians, Mariners.
Mariners.
I'll go Guardians. Giants, Dodgers.
Dodgers.
Twins, Astros. Can the Twins stop teams from scoring a couple touchdowns on them?
Yes. I'm going to say the Twins win the series.
I'll go Twins too. And then Brewers.
Feel like a foghorn.
And Cardinals.
I'm going to take the Cardinals 2 or 3. I'm going to say they split 4.
You son of a gun. I'm going to say Brewers win 3 out of 4. I like the pitching for the Brewers coming up here.
Good.
Eric Fetty's coming up tonight, but the Brewer, we broke it down. A lot of Brewers have a lot of good success against him. So then you got Quintana on Saturday. I'm going 3 out of 4. I'm going to go 3 out of 4. So there you have it. Those are our picks for this morning. All right, Brewers again tonight with Freddie and Eric Fetty on the mound. So it's a little bit of a later start for the game. So if you want to tune into the radio dials, 710 is for you can listen to that at 105.1 FM, 790 AM. 310 day game tomorrow. So not a bad way to spend a Saturday down in Milwaukee. Not a late game if you're driving down. So and then Sunday 110, and then road trip time for the Brewers. So which week from tomorrow, I'll be at Target Field. Sounds like maybe you will be.
I might be too.
At Target Field.
I'll look for you.
I'll look for you. You look for me? I'll look for you.
Yeah, we'll have to see each other then, right?
Maybe. Possibly. I don't know.
I don't know how many people will be there.
Well, how many people have you ever? So I had this. We had a little bit of this yesterday. Have you ever had a Friday the 13th? Might have been a perfect time to bring this up. A couple of people shared yesterday. Have you ever had a bad experience or like a horror experience going to a game in an opposing stadium?
No, not really. When I went to Wrigley, it was. I mean, the people sitting by us were good, and I mean we weren't being jerks either. I think that's always part of it.
That's surprising.
I know. We had a long drive back.
Yeah.
I've had when I went to Lambeau, like I've seen other people getting on each other, but again, I think in many cases, not all of them, but in many cases, it's kind of a product of what's the environment you're creating.
Right.
I've had good experiences there. I mean, I've heard horror stories from people going other places, but like, let's put it this way. I have no interest in ever going to a football game in Philly.
Well, okay. So that was my next question. Is there a venue straight up because of the fans that you would never, ever go to? Would it be Philly?
It would.
Okay. That's what I was kind of wondering. Even like, because I know Minnesota and Philly have a little bit of there, but Philly would still kind of worry me as a Packers fan.
Right.
I think the easy one for a lot of Packers fans would be Soldier Field, but I don't know. I think that's kind of changed a little bit.
I think so.
Raiders used to be because you'd hear the stories they were chucking batteries.
Yeah, like the Black Hole.
Yeah.
In Oakland.
So I don't know if that's still
I
thing.
don't think that's like because you've seen a lot since the Raiders have moved to Vegas about how that stadium just gets basically taken over by whichever team they're playing, which I mean, that's kind of the product of what they did when they moved to Las Vegas is they made it a lot easier for other team fans to go because it's a destination.
Right. Yeah, I think I'd probably put Philly on there too as maybe the one I would avoid. I'm trying to think, is there a baseball one for you that, because you've been to Wrigley, so
Yeah.
St. Louis, I feel like I wouldn't mind going.
I want to go to St. Louis sometime.
We did have a couple people yesterday. Seabaum was one of them saying they had an awful experience at St. Louis with Cardinals fans. But
yeah, I don't know. I would like to go. I know, like back in the day, because I mean, when you go back to the Brewers and the AL, like the Brewers and the White Sox was a pretty brutal rivalry. Like those teams did not like each other.
Right.
So I could see maybe old Comiskey, but like now I don't.
White Sox just stink. They got nothing
Right.
to talk
I think
about.
I just feel like there'd be a lot of apathy.
Right.
But right now I can't really.
Yeah, I'm trying to think too. Like, I hope nobody has any horror stories with Target Field because I'm taking my kid there. So I just,
I've always enjoyed myself there. I can say that.
Okay, so I hope they recognize that he's soon to be 8-year-old and don't
Aren't
give
a
him too
jerk.
much- Yeah, because he's going to be wearing his Brewers stuff.
Hopefully
So,
nobody breaks into the press box yelling at ball people.
thanks, Rob.
Which may or may not have happened at the Packers-Eagles playoff game.
We just had him on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, but no, I was trying to think of that too. Like, would there be? Because we got this checklist now. We found this thing where it's actually just baseball and football, which I kind of chuckle at that they didn't include like basketball or anything like that. It's a map, and it has the different stadiums, and you just like scratch off the ones you've been at. So that's our goal, me and him. But realistically, not going to be going too far.
Right.
Probably, sort of thing. So, but no, I I really haven't had, and I'm one of them that I have not gone to many different stadiums outside of Lambeau and AmFam Field. I went to the Metrodome. I mentioned US Bank when we went, and I said, saw it. You were a little bit closer. The Auburn fans, drinking beer through their straw. And
I will still never forget that. Like, and it was the college kid, so I don't know if I just missed I missed a trend or something, which wouldn't be the first time.
TikTok trend before TikTok.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if it was just a thing, but like I mean, like, because I've been to I went to the Big House for a Badgers Michigan football game, and there was a guy that was a jerk, but I felt like that was more of an isolated incident because the people around us were cool.
Yeah, you're gonna have I think
And
one of
that's
those
it,
annoying
that's
fans.
it. I'm trying to separate one person's a jerk versus everyone's a jerk. Or
Right.
Most people are a jerk.
Yeah, or anything like that. A viral video that'll go out. Like, what was it, the Packer and Eagle one that came out of this postseason?
Well,
sort of thing where it's that bad. Like, I haven't gone through that. I've never experienced that.
No.
So I've experienced annoying people. Like the Texans game, I swear the guy I was standing next to, it was complete opposite. Guy I was standing next to, I think he thought he was at a dance club every time there was music playing between downs, and he was a Texans fan.
How many drinks do you think he had?
I don't know. Oh, this is what I think I told you this. How he ate his broader hot dog. Did I tell you this?
I don't know if he did.
From the top. Yeah.
Like,
so you're holding it?
Like,
you would eat it at the end, right?
Yeah.
He ate it from the top. Yeah, thank you. Exactly. How does that work? You wanted to make two? Like, you go down the middle?
He was eating it the long way? Like,
I was like, what? And then literally doing this stupid rave dance every time between so annoying. And on the other side, where Hutz was sitting, Texas fans, but they bought him a cheese head because it was his first game. I'm like, that was cool. They didn't have to do that.
Right.
And that probably cost them $50 at the game.
Right.
So, but yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, what's going on here? Eating it is like his first time? First time? Like,
he didn't know how to eat a brat?
right. Like how do I do this thing? Like, how do I handle it?
He's first time eating
he was a younger guy too. So he looked like he was maybe early 20s, but
he's got a lot of growing up to do, apparently.
Apparently. It was probably one of the more interesting things I've seen
I
at a football game.
I believe it.
So, but no, I'm excited for him to go to his first. It's been a while since I've been to a brew. Been a couple of years too, so I'm excited to. Wish they had a dome to ensure that there is going to be a game. So
I've sat through a few rain delays at Target Field over the years.
Yeah, especially since they're talking rain a lot this week. God, I didn't even think of that, Brandon. Dang it. We'll see how it goes. So, All right, we only got a few minutes left here, so yeah, we really don't have a lot on the prep scene anymore for you to cover. So
we're
it's
pretty much at the end of the season here. Obviously, we said Fall Creek's in action a little bit later this morning.
11:30, I believe. So
they win, they would play the second game of the day tomorrow. Yeah, we'll have state baseball early next week. We got girls soccer sectional finals tomorrow. Eau Claire Memorial in action. Boys state tennis. Altoona and Menominee will be in action here in the next couple days. And yeah, we're pretty much near the end of it. And then we'll have some Legion baseball. And next thing you know, it'll be August and the merry-go-round starts again.
Oh, yeah. So also don't forget the Express. Hopefully rain holds off for tonight and such. But Express tonight at Carson Park. Express tomorrow. Express Sunday before they head out to a long, long road trip. So if you want to get out, it's summer. Go watch sports that are meant for the outdoors in summer. So go and do that and check out and get some new swag too from the Express if you haven't done so yet. But other than that, Brewers again, game 2, Peralta, Eric Fetty. Should be a good one, I would think, between these two pitchers and in these lineups and that. But we're getting close to the halfway mark. What are you looking at? You got this intense look on your phone.
Nothing.
Okay, you'll tell me later.
I will.
All right. So, but yeah, we're almost at the 50% mark.
Pretty much.
Almost the second quarter of the
Pretty
season.
much.
We're wrapping up, man. Coming down the wire. So, how many minutes? See, that clock and this clock, this is what's screwing me up.
Why
That's
don't you
fast.
have your clock synchronized?
That's why I think the shot clock, that clock is way too fast. This one
You got to get your
tells us a
clock
little bit more.
synchronized.
Batteries must be going out on that one. So we actually have a couple more minutes. I thought we were gonna get cut off by the shot clock, the good old shot clock, Brandon. But really quick, since you're wearing a Badger thing, did you hear the news about the Badger football team getting in trouble? Naughty. Like 136 phone calls or whatever it was.
The old rule of thumb, if you're going to get busted for cheating, at least why aren't you winning when you're cheating?
Right? I mean, what?
Yeah.
So it's like a level 2.
Yeah.
So they shout out Colton Bartholomew for
he was
breaking it and that. But yeah, 2023. I'm like, oh my God. What just for crying out loud, 100-some phone calls that were like outside the time frame that they could do. Holy moly. Marion, Joseph. But I don't know exactly what's all going to transpire punishment-wise from this.
From what
but
I've seen from a Colton side, it didn't look like too much.
Right. But
still, it's the NCAA how much they could actually be able to enforce anything ever.
I think, too, where it's more of an annoyance just because it's the Badger football team and the frustrations that we've had.
It just adds to it. It's just like, really? Like, so you were doing this, and apparently you're bending the rules, and you
still stunk.
Yeah,
it didn't help you out anyway.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, this is going to be a fascinating fall for Badger football.
I mean, you're a pretty diehard Badger football fan.
Yes.
I mean, where's your enthusiasm level for this thing?
I'm excited in the way that I'm always going to be excited, but like not as much as I've been. Like, I'm curious to see how the Jeff Grimes offense work. I like the fact that it's a little bit more closer to what we would expect as Badger fans. Like, because I think there's a way to still be that smash mouth football team, but still have some other principles up as a part of it.
Right.
But I mean, there's just work to do. Like, there's just a lot of work to do.
Yep. All right, that's gonna do it. Have a good weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. I know we're past now, so happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Spoil them. Hint, hint. We'll be back Monday morning.
You're listening to the Dan Patrick Show on WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1.
You're out, you're about, but you want your Dan Patrick. Well, good news, he goes everywhere with you. If you missed the show, you can podcast it. If you want to see the show, just go to Peacock and we stream it live every weekday. Watch past episodes too. The Dan Patrick Show, available anywhere you are, any way you want it.